The tape. We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up, grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunker down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Found guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't gonna play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday evening on what is set to be an absolutely loaded show. As always, we got a great one for you. We got full reactions from myself and the boys tonight on tonight's episode. We also have a full preview of a loaded Week 7 matchup slate. I mean, there's a lot of really, really high-quality, impactful college football-esque football games this weekend, college football playoff-worthy football games this weekend, impactful games. My 23-year-old producer apparently has a nostalgic segment.
Sort of.
Maybe one of those classic examples where I thought one thing was on the show notes and you obviously are going a different direction.
I would say probably not the direction you think it's heading.
Sometimes that produces some of our best segments. So we might run into something tonight. Who knows? And maybe a new trend in college football arising. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. All that good stuff on the forefront. If you miss any portion of tonight's live stream, we are made readily available. However, wherever you get your podcasts, all that good stuff. Again, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let's get after it. Boys, a crazy weekend of college football as normal. I feel like we're going to continue to say that every single week, and it's not overplayed. We had 2 top 10 football teams get absolutely smacked in the mouth out of nowhere, one of which Penn State. What were your thoughts on this Penn State football game?
Boy, oh boy. I mean, is this hold on. Before we talk about Penn State, I just want to say, is this the best upset story ever? I think it is.
Ooh.
I don't know if App State will always have a place in my heart.
That one's
That's
cool.
just such a crazy game.
That's cool,
Or a moment
but
in
there's
it.
layers to this one. Of like, obviously when you're watching it live, you're like, holy crap! An 0-4 team that lost to 2 non-P4 teams, probably one of the probably known as the worst Power 4 team in the country at the moment, is about to knock off a top 10 team at home with not even half a stadium at capacity.
Did you see the field storming?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the thumbnail currently of our show tonight, and there's a big play happening in the thumbnail photo, and there ain't a soul in the background.
Yeah,
of that picture.
the field storming.
Not a soul.
The field storming was literally so small that the security team was able to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad it was.
Then you learn more and more about it, of how there's moments in this game where Nico is having to call his own plays because the offensive coordinator doesn't know how to work the equipment properly because he's only been prepping for a couple of days, not knowing which button to press, not knowing that he's not talking to his quarterback even though he thinks he's talking to his quarterback. Like, all the layers to this, I think it is the best upset story ever. In my opinion.
After all that, Jay, well, you convinced me. James Franklin needs to be fired at the end of the season.
I mean, in all seriousness, like, and I said this Sunday, and I feel more and more like this about this story, is that, like, what is left to defend this guy on?
Nothing. There's nothing.
You know, like, we always come in here and we say, you know, first of all, y'all got the hottest offensive coordinator in the sport a couple years ago, hired him away from Kansas, and now all of a sudden he's the problem. All right, same thing defensively, right? Like, y'all went out and hired Jim Knowles, the hottest defensive coordinator in the sport, and now y'all can't stop a nosebleed on a brand new offensive coordinator that had 2 days to practice. And it's just, we sit all the time, and this year was their year, right? It was their window, their year that they had to push. They spend a lot of money, I would imagine, retaining both backs. They spend a lot of money retaining a lot of that offensive line. They spend a lot of money retaining that defensive line, right? Spend a lot of money going out and getting Trebor Pena onto this roster. Obviously, not necessarily producing now. But there's a lot of things that's like, man, y'all spent a lot of money, and we defend you, and you go out and you do the same thing that you always do, which is lose the game that you always lose last week to Oregon. But this is the one we always say you're supposed you go out and handle these football games your whole time there. And now we poop in the bed against 0-4 football teams that have losses to New Mexico and UNLV. There's nothing left to defend this guy for. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's certainly run out of options. The only option is to Ryan Day this thing and button up and go out and go on the most incredible tear you've ever seen and win out. The problem is Ryan Day did that at the start of the college football playoff and did it in like 4 games. You're in week 7 right now. You got to do that for the rest of the regular season. You got to do that against Indiana. You got to do that against Penn State. And then you got to go do that in an actual college football playoff. So I think it's fair to say that he's in deep water.
There's a Nebraska game in there that you can't just give them anymore.
Yeah, no. You can't give them anything
You can't
anymore.
give them anything
They've
anymore.
lost that. Oh, they'll beat them. They're higher ranked. It's
The problem with this season in particular, and especially the fact that this loss came in this season, is that this felt like the push all your chips in season from James Franklin, Penn State. You have multiple guys returning, which was huge. You went in and got weapons out of the portal, like you mentioned, and the defense, like you made moves there. So, I mean, it just feels like in a season in which you did everything and you felt like you had everything in place to go and make a national title run. Because I mean, you were in a position last year where maybe you were a couple plays away from playing for a national title last year. And now it feels like you're so distant from that. That's the biggest problem with this is it felt like, and I think I remember us saying this offseason of, if it's not this season for Penn State, we're not sure that it's ever going to happen for these guys.
right. No, I mean, that's definitely the biggest issue that I think James Franklin is facing right now is what we've talked about. There's always been a narrative around James Franklin that, hey, top 10 opponent, big game, James Franklin's going to fold. Now you're folding on the road against arguably it's one of the most embarrassing losses in school history, let alone college football history. So I don't know how he recovers from this other than just going out and going on one of the most insane tears ever. But I think hope is so down and morale is so low for him that I don't see it happening.
I want to go back and I probably won't, because normally, if my memory serves me correct, I got to stop going to that vocal crutch. I want to go back and watch his post-game press conference. I want to watch his Monday press conference, which I don't want to watch his Monday press conference because they're always 54 minutes long. They're the most exhaustive. Him and Dabo have the most exhaustive press conferences in the world. It's almost as if they don't have places to be. They're like, yeah, I'll talk to you for 56 minutes. I mean, I don't have an offensive meeting to run. I definitely don't have a defensive meeting to run. I pay my coordinators a combined $5 million, so I got nowhere to be. I'll talk to the media for 55 minutes. But I want to know what his answers were, if he'd even have to ask or was asked about, why didn't you spy that guy? Why did it take you 4 quarters to spy him? And the first time you did so, you put denied Dennis Sutton in there in the middle of a drive to spy the fastest guy on UCLA's offense. That was the weirdest thing to me. We watch a quarterback rip us for 65 yards on a scramble. By the way, why wouldn't you spy him going into the football game? I think everybody knows that guy's going to run. That's about all they've done offensively this entire year. Now they got a brand new coordinator. They're probably going to be running the Q, coach. Nope, not going to spy him. That's something that the head coach should be on the headsets, maybe putting in the ear of the defensive coordinator who just got there. Hey, coach, the quarterback's legs are killing us. Can we fix this? Nah, don't worry about it.
I think the worst part about that loss as well is how it happened. It wasn't like, man, Penn State's just really, really having a bad game, execution-wise and players-wise. No, they were getting schemed up. Penn State, James Franklin and his staff, Jim Knowles, all got out-coached by UCLA, a ragtag group of UCLA coaches. That's the worst part about it. If Drew Aller came out here and was throwing the ball and had 5 interceptions and turned the ball over all the time, and it was just one of these most inexplicable, like, man, they're just playing really, really bad today, I think this would be a little bit less embarrassing. But the fact is that it came out and UCLA just out-coached Penn State. That was what it was.
Well, I think it's the difference of one staff came prepared to coach in that game. Another staff came of, oh, well, they're 0-4. This is the worst team on our slate. Like, we're going to be fine.
Just
we'll
roll
just
the
show
ball
up
out.
and get out of there.
I need folks to stop. I need head football coaches, and I love Dan Lanning. I think he's a great football coach. He's a victim of this as well. Stop blaming the traveling. Stop being out here complaining about traveling. It's wild to me. Y'all are traveling in private or, chartered planes, man. It's not like y'all sitting in coach with a fellow fan. Like, y'all are fine. Y'all got young football players, a 3-hour drive and some time difference that you get to adjust over a 48-hour time period. It's not that big of a deal. It's not the reason why you lost to an 0-4 football team, okay? Let's have some more accountability other than that. We didn't get smacked with 42 points because we had to travel out west. That's a little ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Y'all claim y'all are the closest thing to the NFL. The NFL does that every single week. It's the craziest thing to me. I hate hearing it, especially when y'all have 3 ranked opponents on your schedule. Mm-hmm. Stop blaming travel.
And no one cites it when you're in the postseason.
No
one goes, man, we lost that playoff game because we had to travel.
We really had to travel out here to Miami, Florida in a playoff game. Welcome to modern day college football, coach. Hey, also, no one asked you to accept UCLA when you voted unanimously to have them all join your conference. Y'all weren't complaining about travel then. Sorry.
No, it's a fair rant. I think we're good on that one.
I think we are good on that.
That horse has been.
Hey, shout out to UCLA. I feel like it's been just a bunch of crapping on, Penn State over the weekend. I feel like they did get their flowers though this week.
Yeah, definitely. Jerry Newhouse is a guy, man.
Oh yeah,
he's a guy,
dude. How about him admitting that? Not a lot of football coaches going to admit that they forgot to call plays on 4th and 1.
Mm-hmm. Very vulnerable situation.
Very, and just honest about it.
Yeah.
How about that? We love that. He's going to get a big time job.
I hope he does.
I hope he deserves
it. Hoping, guys. That guy's
he deserves
getting the job.
It after that.
He don't.
Hey, we still got some more games down the road. All right.
Is there a younger looking football coach that's 32 years old? That guy's 32.
I know.
He looks like he's 17.
Mm-hmm.
He gets carded for chew. It probably doesn't dip though. Seems way too clean cut to have vices such as that. All right, let's move on. Florida off the mat.
Oh boy, it happened.
How about that?
We were kind of suspicious. Like, is Florida's defense going to put together 3 straight games of really looking good? And man, they did. That was a defensive effort from the Gators. Now aided by poor quarterback play from Texas, but.
Well, it's poor offensive line play.
Yeah.
Poor offensive line play when I went back and watched it. Also, I talked about it Sunday, and Jonathan says we have to watch it, so we're going to watch it. I guess we're going to break down Arch and the Texas offense.
That's why people come here.
That's what the people want. They want to know. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be about 30 minutes of me looking at the left guard going, buddy, you are food out here. You are absolutely getting ate up by this Gator defensive line, and they are hunting you for 4 quarters. So it's going to be a lot of that. But it's also going to be me looking at Sark like, are we going to give the quarterback any answers within the 5 to 7 yard range of this route concepts? Are we going to give him any quick game stuff? The answer was no. It was all screens, behind the line stuff, like all the stuff that Texas normally does. But if y'all notice this about Texas's offense, it's either screens at, near, or behind the line of scrimmage or 40-yard chunks.
We're taking the top off. Yeah.
There is no 3-step quick game for this guy. Mm-hmm. That's what I've always noticed about this offense, and it does become a problem, especially if you can't protect.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't protect, you're not going to be able to throw the football, and they damn sure can't run the ball.
Well, and it's this kind of brings me back to the conversations that we were having about Tennessee and Nico last year. Nico obviously had some mechanical issues going on, and that was playing a role in their offense not being what they typically are. But on top of that, they had offensive line issues last year as well, and that was kind of handicapping what Nico was able to do in his development as a prospect. I think you're kind of seeing the same thing with Arch. Now, Arch played better against Florida. He I don't think he was really the problem, but even in some of the throws that I saw, like, he's still doing the same things that we were talking about when we broke down the film last week, of still like leaning really hard left on some of those throws. So, but I think that it's hard to continue to develop that and get that out of him when your offensive line isn't holding up.
I mean, it's bad.
I was going to say, I think there's something that's not getting talked about enough in this game is that Texas's defense, which we thought was going to be what wills this team to a college football playoff appearance, wasn't that impressive.
I think they found out how freaky Dallas Wilson was mid-action. I don't think they knew. How could you?
Yeah.
All you heard was spring ball stuff. He didn't play the first couple weeks, and then bang, you get smacked with. Again, I hesitated to do this on Sunday. That looked like what Jeremiah Smith looked like last year as a true freshman.
Yeah, no, I mean, look.
6'3", 220, can't tackle him, can't guard him. What do you do?
It's definitely fair to say that Florida's weapons are advertised, and they looked very good offensively, and that's kind of what people were very scared of that Florida offense coming into the season for good reason. But they rushed for 4.3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Like, Jaden Ball was all over them all game. They made DJ Lagway look like a very cerebral quarterback. I think he had like 70% completion percentage. Like, things that a Texas defense that we thought was going to be the catalyst of this season could not do. Missed tackles, sloppy play, missing assignments. Like, everything that we thought was going to will this Arch Manning thing. Like, okay, let Arch Manning and this offense kind of figure it out. We'll hold everyone else to 17 points a game. That was not there on Florida.
Yeah, I guess the only bad thing for Florida moving forward is I don't know if you can rely on this offense continuing to do this because, I mean, DJ Lagway got dinged up again in this game.
Yeah, his ankle, he was limping.
That would indicate to me that he's probably not going to practice.
Hamstring?
I think it was one of the other. I think it was a hamstring.
Hamstring going in and now ankle?
Yeah, so that indicates to me he's probably not going to practice a whole lot this upcoming week. So, again, that plays into that aspect of things that we've been discussing a lot this season. So, maybe it'll continue, but you truly don't know. Like, I don't know if it really changed any of my feelings about Florida.
A lot of Dallas Wilson makes this offense completely different. It simplifies the things for the quarterback too, who is very much so struggled throughout the year. And now all of a sudden we got he's over there one-on-one. I'm just going to throw it to him. It removes all thinking for a quarterback that through the first 4 or 5 weeks was struggling to think it and see it, right? So that makes things a lot easier. And I think it is repetitive or repeatable, I should say, right? Because you can't just isolate him. They still got Eugene Wilson. Vernell Brown's playing great as a true freshman. And then you add into the fact that Jaden Ball can run and tote the rock really, really well. So I do think this is a repetitive a recipe for repetitive success offensively. Be careful, though, because, like, some of y'all out here drinking Kool-Aid way too fast already. Like, I don't mean to quote other national analysts, but, like, Joe Klatt had the nerve to mention the words playoff with this Florida team already. Like, whoa, come on now. Be careful. We got, like, a whole lot left on the schedule, and a quarterback, as you guys mentioned, can't seem to stay healthy. But an admirable win, no doubt about it. I still can't figure out this Florida football team under Billy Napier. I just can't. There's no way to pinpoint what they are going to be.
I think it's the scariest team in college football
for their own fan base's purposes too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that was a 1-3 team, but that's also one of a team that has every capability to get you. Like, that's terrifying if you're an opposing team.
I feel like we've said that about every Billy Napier football team.
Yeah.
We're the only media, like, we're one of the very few media national people that have, like, obviously Pate goes to SEC football games, but most of these people that talk about Florida don't see this football team up close and personal.
No.
This is a big, athletic, physical football team every time you see them. It just don't make no sense why they lose some of the football games that they do, which is why you probably need to fire the football coach. Like, if it continues up and down like this, even though they show peaks of being as great as anybody, can be anybody on any given Saturday. Yeah, they could also lose to USF at home out of nowhere. You know, like, it's insane to watch. So there's that. We do need to talk about something before we move on to this. Did y'all see Sark's comments today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
do you know? Can you paraphrase it for the audience?
Yeah. So basically,
see this today.
Basically, he was asked about obviously losing to Texas or losing to Ohio State, losing to Florida, and he said, "There's, I think, 135 other teams in this league. I'd like to see how they both do if you have to go to the shoe in the swamp." which is such a loser mentality. And Kirby Smart also did this when they lost to Alabama 2 weeks ago or a week ago, where it's like, what's their record against everyone? I don't understand why coaches always talk about our standard, holding ourselves to our standard, and immediately when things go wrong, it's, well, what did everyone else do? What's their standard? What's their record against? It's a loser mentality, and I don't know why they do that. So shame on Steve Sarkeesian for doing this.
Also, Sark needs to realize that there might be 135 football programs in Division I football, but, buddy, you're at one of the top 5 jobs. Like, that's what it is. You are at a place. No, Saban talked about this going into the Vandy football game. There are certain programs in this world that expect winning every single Saturday. And you're at one of these. By the way, you get paid like one of these football coaches. You get paid like you should win every single football game that you line the cleats up and roll the ball out for. So when it doesn't happen, we can't be out here like, well, I'd like to see how many programs go out there and win in the situations we got to put. Coach, you ain't one of them other programs. You are not one of those other programs. You cannot go to the microphone and talk like that. It's disrespectful to your fan base that expects to be a top 5 football program. Mm-hmm. That's what they expect. That's what they demand. And if you don't like that, it's probably not the place to be at. All right. By the way, the former head football coach at that place, Tom Herman, said a lot of this same stuff. Texas fans put it all on my social media feed, reminded me today. Texas, under Tom Herman, their motto every single time after a loss is winning is hard. Yeah, winning's hard. But when you're at a place where winning is the expectation, it's the bare minimum. So we can't be out here talking like that.
Yeah, also that narrative goes out the window when you find out that the USF Bulls have won in that stadium this year. So this idea that the Swamp is this unbeatable place to play and no one comes out of there alive, like USF, man, it's tough.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I'm glad you got in on the front of that anti-homerism with Kirby said this stuff about Bama.
Yeah.
It's not it, but the standard is to win that football game. You got to go win that football game.
And look, you are in a hard position when someone asks you, like, hey, what happened 30 minutes after? I get it. But
I really don't think you are.
It's not the right answer. It's definitely not the right answer.
The coach speak answer of, we got to be better, we got to win these games, that's on me, that doesn't get cut and put up on the graphics, man. That does not. It goes by the wayside. And yeah, the 15,000 fans that watch every single press conference is going to be, man, I'm so sick and tired of hearing this same answer. They're going to say that. But what they're not going to say is, buddy, do you know that you're at Texas? Because when you give this graphic and you give this quote, that is the response. You're at Texas, man. Like you are this program. You're a top 5 program. You're not one of these 135s. You're one of these top 5s. So go out and play like it.
Absolutely.
Bama. Kudos to whoever wrote the show notes today. Who wrote the show notes today?
It'd be me.
The bullet point said, Alabama handles Vandy. And I'm glad that our show agrees that way. Do you feel as if this was the case?
Yeah, I tweeted out before the game, I feel like Vanderbilt's going to get rolled in this game, and that's kind of what happened. Now
for 3 quarters it was. That was the worst start to a football game Alabama could have dreamed of. Start the game, moving the ball, turn it over on 4th down, no points. Give the ball to Vanderbilt, walk down, score immediately, down 7-0. Walk it down again, kick a field goal, miss it. Now we're down 7-0 in the middle of the 2nd quarter. Mm-hmm. That's as bad of a start as it can be. From that moment on, the last 45 minutes of that football game, there was no doubt who was the much better football team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then what certainly gave me that feeling is it's obviously what happened in the second half, but whenever a team is able to get a lead in the second half of a game and it feels like the game just doesn't move at all from that point forward, that is a team getting handled. That is a team that has a game fully in control in their home stadium, and they're not flinching whatsoever. No matter what Vanderbilt was trying to do, no matter how many different things they threw at them, it never seemed like Alabama took another punch in that game. They just kind of remained even keel, and like once they got the lead, it was like, oh, we're fine now. We're going to be able to handle this game moving forward, and that's exactly how it felt to me. I never felt like Alabama's lead was in jeopardy.
I'll also double down on what you said, J-Will. When a team is winning and it feels like they're losing, that's when you're getting handled. And for the remainder of that back half of the first quarter and second quarter, it very much felt like, man, Vanderbilt's leading this game, but it feels like Alabama's winning right now, and they're just not getting things to go their way. So I think Alabama handled them that game.
Alabama had 2 stones left on the whatever infinity thing. I've never seen that movie. Is that Avengers? Never watched it. Big Iron Man guy, didn't get into the idea of them teaming together.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it either. But.
Either way, the last couple of stones for them were, I am Iron Man. The last couple of stones for them were figuring out a run game, and then the 30 and in stuff's very confusing for them. They can't quite figure out how to finish drives. That's still a problem for them. They still can't figure out. They figured out a run game. on Saturday. Like a sustainable one. Not like, oh, Vandy's bad at run defense. No, Vandy was a good run defense coming into this. Now, they ain't played nobody, but they gave up a bunch of creases on Saturday in the run, and Alabama earned those. So I thought that was like the last thing for this offense to be like borderline, how do you stop them?
Yeah, that was definitely the best running performance that Alabama's offense has had today. And credit to Jan Miller and credit to their schemes because it did seem like they varied it a little bit more than what we saw those first 4 or 5 weeks. So they look good right now. There's no doubt about that. Like that is a very scary Alabama team, and it's kind of like they are firing on all cylinders right now, but I'm still very suspicious on them.
Not to sidetrack the conversation. I tried the Avengers thing, but the whole, like, you got to watch the other individual movies to understand the big one. The other individual movies stink.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I don't think you have to, but I think that oddly enough, my biggest takeaway from this game is that this game did not change my viewpoint on either of these teams. Like, I didn't walk away from this game feeling any different about Alabama, and that's not a shot at them. Like, I came into last weekend thinking that Alabama is a good team. They should beat Vanderbilt, and they're going to remain in contention to win the SEC title this year and be in a playoff spot. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, I thought is still a good team. I think they're going to compete against anybody in this conference. I think they showed that this weekend. And I think moving forward, if you have Vanderbilt on your schedule, you are going to have some feeling about you of this team can beat us because they can. There is absolutely a chance where Vanderbilt could beat anybody in this conference on any given Saturday. So I just think that my feelings around both of these teams just remain the same. Like, I didn't go overboard with Alabama this year. I'm not taking a step back on Vanderbilt. I'm just remaining stayed put on both of them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And again, given what we saw last year and what we've seen this year, there's still a lot of room for Alabama to have one of these stinkers. So until Kalen DeBoer can give me a full season of, hey, we play a clean game and we might have one bad game, I can't fully buy in just yet.
See, I think they're only going to get better offensively. Now, whether or not they stay healthy, the question is, can they remain steady? These up and down things are very, very interesting. People, look, here's the deal. You come to me for football opinions. If my music opinions and my film movie opinions suck, it's because I'm way too consumed in ball. Way too consumed in ball. And that's the stuff that you care about.
That's fair.
What'd y'all think of the Pavia stuff? All the trash talking.
I get it.
All the stuff pregame, and then kind of, I would say, getting sensitive leaving the field. I had a big rant Sunday, and I stand on it. If we're going to be out here, I talk a big game, and then I go out and play not so great, we kind of got to put a mouthpiece and a helmet on and walk out of that stadium and take all that lashing that we get as we leave. That shame, you got to take that one. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think that what the fan did is loser behavior, in my opinion. I don't think that that's cool or anything. I don't think that that's a moment for you. Like, I think it's lame.
If the fan were 23,
still lame.
Still lame?
Still lame to me. I think anybody that takes
old dude in khakis in a polo.
It's lamer.
Lamer.
It's lamer.
Student section chirping you on the way out. Not as lame.
Yeah,
I thought it was admirable there wasn't a beer tossed in that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really cross a line, in my opinion, but I agree that when you put yourself in that position, when you're going in front of microphones and you're saying the things that you are, and I don't know if he does this every game, but doing the victory formation before the game, all that kind of stuff, like, you are making yourself available to have something like that happen, and you just got to take your licks, man. Like, that's what happens. Like, that's just part of the sport. Like, if that's the kind of person that you want to be, that's the territory that you're entering, and that's what you make yourself vulnerable to. So I think that Pavia could have handled it better, and I think that's just kind of the end of the story.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I always go back to Baker Mayfield after the Rose Bowl, where Baker Mayfield very notoriously had a very loud and somewhat obnoxious at times 2017 season, was the subject of many criticisms, obviously the Kansas game, and he came in with the Pretenders sign to the Rose Bowl. And after he lost, he was getting chirped at by a Georgia player and said on the podium, was like, hey, they won, they get to do that stuff. You have to have that attitude. If you're going to put yourself out there and be vulnerable about that, I get it. Like, this is the consequences of when you do say outlandish things like, it's not going to be close if we play our game. Like you said, if you're running victory formation pregame, stuff like that is going to put you in a position of criticism. Now, if Pavia hadn't said anything all week, it was like, this is a great opportunity, and Bama fans were doing that, yeah, you can throw the classless and all that stuff out, but it's just an equal reaction to something I think Pavia put out there long before in the energy-wise.
I mean, at some point, somebody let you know that liking Nickelback was not cool.
You're still on the
Nickelback
music?
put out bangers. Nickelback was on the top of the charts, and then it just got out someday, just like that one rumor about Sierra, that you were just not cool if you like Nickelback, and then people stopped bumping Nickelback. So I don't know what happened there. Bad PR, but I'll turn a Nickelback tune on every once in a while.
Well, I've also never understood the, I bet you still listen to blank. Like, if it's good music, it's good music. Why does there have to
Big
be
facts.
trends?
Big facts.
That's always been my thing.
Miami. Topples, Florida State?
That's how I felt.
I felt like the world fell
Such a
asleep in the
weird
fourth
game.
quarter.
It
I
was
felt like
such
the
a
world fell
weird
asleep
game.
midway through the third. I feel like this offense fell asleep midway through the third, and I feel like I'm going to get clipped left and right when Miami ends up 13-0 because the ACC is a bunch of slop. But the reality is, and I'll say this again like I said it on Sunday, they are a great football team. At their peak, they look unstoppable offensively and defensively. But the fact of the matter is, in all of their meaningful games this year, and they're done, they won't play another meaningful game until December. In all of their meaningful games, there's been massive lulls on both sides of the football. There was a lull in the fourth quarter Saturday night against Florida State. There was a lull offensively against Florida and defensively. They came out in the second half, did Florida, and walked the football on them. So, there's lulls in that one. There was lulls offensively against Notre Dame. They have failed to finish. In the 3 meaningful football games that they will play all year, they handled their lone ranked opponent against South Florida. The one ranked opponent they have handled for 4 quarters is South Florida. They won't play another one the rest of the year, and they're a college football playoff team, and that's great. I get that take out front. But here's the credit to Miami. Here's why everyone thinks they're the best football team in college football right now, if they share that opinion. Guys, they've hit home runs on transfers. They have maximized football players that did not play so well at their previous stop. I was very dubious of C.J. Daniels. This is a kid that came from Liberty, went to LSU, didn't really have an opportunity or didn't really blossom at LSU, and it was supposed to work at Miami. Yeah, it's working like hell. He's playing great football. Every time I turn it on, C.J. Daniels is making plays left and right. Okay, it's not just him, though. Carson's always been a really, really good player. I feel like he's playing some of his best football right now, particularly 30 and 40 yards downfield. He's tremendously accurate, and this is a guy that was overthrow last year at Georgia in the deep passing game. Their center, Brockemeyer, playing some of the best football he has played. It's a kid that came from TCU that we were like, TCU center, right? I loved him out of high school. Everyone was on his brother, Tommy. I was a James Brockemeyer guy. I got the receipts. All that good stuff. He's playing his best ball. They're squeezing the life and the talent out of the guys that they purchased out of the portal. Keelan Marion has had a career game in this offense so far. So they have done things. And by the way, it's the same recipe that Oregon's got going on. They've hit 10 out of 11 out of the portal. 10 out of the 11 guys they have signed out of the portal this offseason are starting for them. The other one is requesting a red shirt because he can't get playing time.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly reason to believe and buy into why Miami is one of these top 5 teams. I don't think anyone's going to argue that they aren't. It felt very weird watching that game, though. And going back and kind of just watching over the highlights of Miami this season so far, it very much feels like Miami's offense is the epitome of boom or bust, where it's, hey, we're either hitting you over the head with explosives, and sometimes we're doing flea flickers and trick plays to get those, and otherwise it's kind of like, we're just going to kind of sputter out. I don't feel like we've seen a Miami football drive where they have driven down the field and just walked it down a team. And that showed its head against a Florida State team.
Fourth quarter final score against Florida, I felt was that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I felt was that.
That's a fair
That last one, I think it put them up 26-7 or something like that. I felt like that one was here's 12 plays down your gullet.
But has not been able to do that with consistency. And they could not do it against Florida State. It was very much either, hey, we're going to hit explosives on you or take screens to the house, or we're not going to really be able to do much else. And it was such a weird game because Miami dominated them in all facets, but it also felt like at times, like if you were hiding the scoreboard, no one would really know who was winning that game because Florida State certainly wasn't winning it, but Miami also didn't feel like, man, these guys are just killing them.
I just felt like offense, despite some of the sputters that Miami had, I felt like offense was a lot easier for them to come by, specifically in the second half. And it's all to do with Malachi Tony, in my opinion, because you get that dude the ball, it could go to the house. It feels like 50% of the time that he gets the ball in his hands, it's going to be for – I mean, he had one called back off of a penalty against him. I think he is the best pure football player in college football right now. That's what I think about him. Like, that dude just plays football better than anybody. Like, the spatial awareness, the explosiveness that he has – I think he's just a pure football player, and I think that he's their best weapon right now. So I feel like offense was coming a lot easier for them compared to Florida State in the second half, and that's why, to me, like when I'm watching that, it just feels like Miami's toppling them, and Florida State couldn't fight their way back.
How did Miami know that kid was so good that he could reclass and start for them, but he was a 3-star consensus?
Don't know.
Dude, he's not – and also not a small school. That kid came from American Heritage. Down there in South Florida. He was on rosters with Brandon Ennis, and his wide receiver coach was like, yeah, y'all think the Ennis kid is good. Wait till you see this one. 3-star.
Mm-hmm. Also, we need to talk about this, though, because my biggest takeaway from that game was Mario Cristobal still has no idea how to manage a fourth quarter.
None.
Oh.
I mean, they tried to give Florida State that game, but what was that 4th and 1 call? First off, going for it, fine, whatever. We're going to run a rollout arrow and lob it up. What in the world was like Mario Cristobal asked to lose that game? He did everything he could to let Florida State back in to the point where the box score was like, man, that was actually a really close game. No, Miami was killing. I think it was 28-3 in the fourth quarter, and Florida State came crawling back and had the ball back with a chance to take the lead. Obviously didn't do it, but horrible job by Mario Cristobal. And it's going to get overlooked because they won, but man, that was bad.
Yeah, for me in that situation that you're talking about in the 4th and 1, I'm always good. Like, especially when you're up, it's late in the game. I'm always going to be of the belief you should take the points. I know that you can put the game away, you can officially put nail in coffin, but like in that situation, I'm always going to say just take your points, move on. Like,
well, correct me if I'm wrong. Did it change it from a 1-score to a 2-score lead? Kicking a field goal, would it have, or would it have remained a 1-score lead? Because if it remains a 1-score lead, there's no point in kicking the field goal.
I believe the score.
It was already a 2-score game, wasn't it?
I believe the score was 28-22.
That's 6 points. Yeah, you kick the field goal there and go up 9, make it a 2-score game. If that is indeed the case. Guys, I think we're getting bogged down on that football game.
It was 28-22.
Yeah, 28-22, 6-point lead. You kick the field goal, go up 9, the game's over.
Yeah.
That's goofy. You're just trying to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
You're just big, tough. I'm an offensive line guy. That's how
I'm
we
an
lose
offensive
football
line
games.
guy and I'm throwing arrows.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. But that's the aggressive nature of we're just going to ice the game. You know, we're going to go out here and finish it. Chat's asking how I feel about the Auburn game between Auburn and Baylor being moved away from a home site into Mercedes-Benz. I hate it, but it's the reality. And we talked about this with spring games being canceled. I think we were the only show to get to this take of y'all think it's because they want to hide their rosters. They do want to hide their rosters, but in reality, it's a net loss. It's such a loser in terms of financial gains, right? Hosting football games costs money, does not make money. You have to pay everybody in the stadium. You have to pay all the security, cops, time and a half. I love my folks at Georgia State Patrol, but guess who loves those football games? Those guys. They're getting paid time and a half to sit there and guard and do great security. All right, but it costs a lot of money. All the trash, all the concessions, all that stuff costs money. So, yeah, every opportunity they get, and when Mercedes-Benz calls up and says, hey, I got $5 million for you. Wait a minute. You're going to pay me? Normally, I lose like $500,000 every Saturday. Hell yeah, I'll take $5.5 million in net gain instead of a net loser. So, yeah, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But it's the reality situation that we're in. It's a dollars and cents business nowadays, and unless you have a budget that just is so big that you can say, we'll just lose it. We'll just lose. We're okay with it. Then, yeah, you have to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, I do relate to the fans because especially for Auburn's schedule next year, like all of their big games are on the road. Like they don't have very many big home games, and that was going to be one of your big home games. So coming from like a student perspective or a season ticket holder, I relate to that because having that type of game ripped away from you, that sucks. But on the bright side, it's just like a 2-hour poke up the road for you. It's not like they're moving it across the country.
All right, hey, guys, what did you think about this Texas A&M win? Let's be quick.
Very impressive win. I'm still suspicious of Texas A&M, but their defense.
You are a hater.
You're a hater, man.
Okay.
But the only
31-6, they're 31-7 them.
Yeah, no, they look great game. Great game. The defense did a great job. I felt like they had Blake Shapen in a torture chamber, but
a left tackle from Mississippi State is.
And I knew that
might be the worst tackle in college football right now.
I knew that's probably what the analysis
Dude,
around this game.
Yeah, I mean
they can't keep him upright.
Yeah, that's just it's tough.
I figured that's what the analysis would be. Is that Texas A&M dominated, but I the only reason why I put this game into this show sheet is because I want to say that Marcel Reed is my favorite watch in the SEC right now. If I have the option to choose any quarterback to watch, I'm going to be watching Marcel Reed over anybody. I think what he's doing, what that offense is doing, is one of the more fun things to watch. I don't know why you're shaking your head.
Well, I know why I'm shaking my head. Chat that watches every single show knows why I'm shaking my head. I called you out on Sunday for your tweet about this. And neither of you were watching the show. Nay, a producer, was watching the show on Sunday, and that's okay. But, yeah, you got called out for this on Sunday. I don't understand your choice in men. I do not understand your choice in quarterback play.
Men.
And it's not your fault. You've chosen such a great spouse. Like, you're so good at your player selection and your affinity selection in real life that your fandom selection is just crazy. You're just seeking thrills, I think. What is up with your quarterback affinities?
What's wrong with liking Marcel Reed?
It's just, bro, the ups and downs of that. The frantic quarterback play that is Marcel Reed.
Yeah, and
now the highs, the highs are high, but these lows, man.
Wait a minute, weren't you a Pavia guy till like 72 hours ago?
I'm still a Pavia guy. I'm such a Pavia guy that I had to have a tough conversation with a man that I have respect for.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still a Pavia stan.
All right.
That's why I had to take my L's with him. I just wish he'd take them a little bit more honorably as I do, you know?
But I also think that the ups and downs are why he's one of the more perfect non-biased observers, because if I were a fan, then yeah, maybe there's it's not as desirable to watch him every single Saturday because it is so up and down. But as a non-biased observer, I'm just there to watch the throws. I don't care about the lows.
So you're just thrill seeking.
Yeah, and I think that he is no different than watching Lenore Sellers. That is a thrill seeking entertainment process of. Yeah, Lenore Sellers is about to take a 30-yard sack, but he's also about to probably rip a 50-yard run, and it's going to make me drop my jaw.
I get this. It doesn't give you a hangover.
Yeah, I'm just there purely enjoying what I'm watching. If Texas A&M goes 3 and out,
it's the cheapest drug there is.
If Texas A&M goes 3 and out 5 times in a row, I don't care. But there's also opportunities for that offense to look like the most fun thing in college football.
It turns all your bad feelings into good feelings.
Exactly. So I don't get why I'm being judged for this. I just like Marcel Reed, and I was very high on them coming into the season, and I think it's kind of playing out a little bit.
To be 100% honest, you were not being judged for your quarterback affinities. You were being judged for not showing up on Sunday's chat.
I was there for the first 30 minutes. Sometimes you got things to do. There's honeydews list, as you know, as a married man.
I do.
Sometimes you got to take care of business.
Some of us get that, you know.
One day.
Hey, I do have to say this about A&M, honestly. I think they do it specifically defensively. I think they do such a tremendous job of recruiting the state of Texas. And you'll say, well, Brooksy, that's a layup. They're in the state of Texas. They're the second most important school out there. They better be recruiting the state of Texas really, really well. No, it's deeper than that, man. They recruit the blue chippers down to the lesser knowns as well as anybody's recruiting their home state, in my opinion. Okay, I think Alabama does this really well. I think Georgia does this well. I think Ohio State does this really well in the northeastern sector of the country. But I think A&M is hammering in-state recruiting on the defensive side of the football from blue chips down to lesser knowns, and I'll walk you through it. Like, if you walk through the levels of their defense, right, they got a blue chipper that they had to sign in-state that they went all in on, I presume, in DJ Hicks, the defensive tackle, right? You go on to the second level, they got a 3-star lesser known that is dominant. I think it's the Caleb Downs of linebacker play right now in Torian York. It's a 3-star, 5'10", Temple, Texas, lesser known kid. Gotta have him. He's ours. We'll take him. Now, did it only happen because Anthony Hill was a miss? Yeah. But this fits the narrative, right? A blue chipper in their state. They miss on him. What do they fill with? A lesser-known 3-star that's going to dominate for them that is a Texas A&M Aggie. You go into the second or the third level of that defense, they got like a top 250 guy, Marcus Radcliffe, 6'3", 200-pound, long-rangey safety, state of Texas prospect. I'm sure everybody was in on him. They were a little bit more in on him than the rest of the in-state schools, and they get him. I think they're doing a really, really good job, guys, of balancing the in-state talent and really honing in on guys that they know that not only that they can get, but they need to have that are lesser-known recruits.
Yeah, I mean, not to call Texas A&M a secondary school in their state, but that's what they are right now. I mean, Texas is the big school right now in that state, and that's what secondary schools should always do, in my opinion. Like, we talk about it with other programs or other states, not just that state, but I mean, Alabama, like Auburn versus Alabama, you talk about it there. The Florida schools, like however it is the current state there, you talk about it there. Georgia Tech, like that should be Georgia Tech's process as well. Like, I think they've done a better job of that, so it applies to a lot of states, but good on Texas A&M for being the one that's actually doing it and executing and changing it into results for them as well.
It's definitely paid off with their approach, so props. Because I think that other people forget that it's not just Texas and Texas A&M in that state. Everyone goes to Texas, and there's also SMU there also. So it's a hard state to recruit.
Boys, I've noticed a new trend in college football.
What's that?
Now, there's always been, in the last, I'd say, 20 years, basically once this stigma on playing freshmen was lifted and y'all stopped making these freshmen earn it on JV or redshirt, and I felt like that was a 90s thing. And then once the thousands and the aughts hit, it was like, no, we need to win games, put the best players out there no matter what. But now freshmen are making so much money, right? And oftentimes on some of these rosters, freshmen are making more than the older kids on the roster. You're heavily invested in these young kids. And I'm seeing a trend of these kids getting onto the field more and more and more and impacting and sometimes being the best players on their football team. Last year we saw this, I feel like, at the wide receiver position with Jeremiah Smith and obviously Ryan Williams. Defensive end-wise, edge rushers, Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart were two of the better edge rushers in college football last year as true freshmen. You look at this year in college football, it's Malachi Toney, it's Dallas Wilson now at Florida, it's Dakarian Moore out there at Oregon. Guys, you look at the quarterback position, where especially what I'm talking about with this high value, right? Spending a lot of money on these young football players. Some of them playing really, really good ball. Malik Washington out there at Maryland playing great ball. Baron Bachmeier at BYU. I know that's a different situation because Retzlaff got suspended and all of a sudden we got to play the freshman, but the freshman's playing really well right now for that football team. Bryce Underwood out there at Michigan making a lot of money, carrying that football team in a lot of aspects right now, I feel like. And then, of course, Jared Sagapatule is going through some growing pains out there at Cal, but has shown signs of like elite young play. I think freshmen are making so much money now. Rosters are so thin that we have to play some of these skill guys, and we can't be afraid to do so, and really not afraid to make them featured portions of our identity offensively and defensively, particularly at these skill position spots. I know some of these interior defensive linemen, some of these offensive linemen, they got to get big boy weight on them. They got to be grown men before they go play in some of these leagues. But these skill guys, man, get them on the field now as soon as possible.
I think what you're getting at is part of the reason why it's become, and it's always been difficult to project college football, but it's become even more difficult because now you're seeing more and more true freshmen not only play, but they're becoming like focal points of offenses and big reasons why certain teams are being really successful in winning games. And that's just not something you can really project in the offseason or really foresee coming. Like, no, we certainly didn't going back to Malachi Toney, didn't see this happening for Miami. Was not aware that this guy was going to be so much of an impact for this team and be a big reason why they're so explosive offensively. That aspect of it makes it really hard to project these teams. Like, how good are they? Because these players are changing team ceilings. Like, they're changing the outlook of these teams.
Yeah, I will say that I don't know if it's necessarily because of the erosion of how many players you have on a roster and the lack of seniors, because I feel like there's always been a select handful of freshmen that have made an impact on a team, especially like you said, in the last 10 to 15 years of college football. Like, I feel like we have had these handfuls of freshmen. Now, it doesn't make the stories any less impactful, but there's still always kind of been these star freshmen making plays, in my opinion.
I feel like they're getting called into action a lot earlier.
I mean, that's true, but I went back
Kirby,
to
look at the football team we cover on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely more reliance on.
They're starting true freshmen at right guard or right tackle. You know, they got a sophomore running back that's going through growing pains. They got a quarterback that's 5 games in. Like, it's just young everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more of a reliance
except for
on
Vandy in this conference.
Yeah. True. Everyone's
young.
You definitely rely on freshmen more as a whole, but I think like the ones that rise to the top, like the cream of the crops, the Jeremiah Smiths, the Ryan Williams, the whoever. I do think that those have always been there. Like, I went back into 2019. Breece Hall, Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner, those are all freshmen that year, like all making incredible impacts. Now, there might not have been as many freshmen starting in roles, but you still had these guys that were rising to the top.
Yeah. You get nostalgic on me?
Sort of.
The notes basically said, like, back in my day.
No, it's
like the notes were like, hey, back when I was young, kind of thing. I'm like, dude, you're 23. What the hell's going
No,
on?
don't
on the
worry.
show notes
This isn't a get off my lawn segment. Don't worry
okay,
about that.
because I got to get off my lawn segment.
Do you want to go ahead and hit that?
I mean, that's what I thought we were going to do. I thought we were going to say, hey, back in my day, these were the greatest things that we don't see anymore. Like number 5, finger tape. All you kids wearing gloves nowadays. You know how I knew you were a murderer on the defensive side of the football? If you was out here taping your fingers instead of wearing gloves back in my day. I mean, that's number 5. I got a great list. Number 4, an actual chin strap, one that buckles. All you kids got these zip chin straps nowadays. What? Hey, our coach used to talk about, y'all better be ready to buckle it up. Y'all better be ready to strap it up. Nuh-uh. Y'all better be ready to zip it up. It just don't hit like it's supposed to. And for some reason, why your helmet's always popping off nowadays? Like, we had the old buckles, and if the buckle went bad, you get a new one. Actually, it was earned valor. If you broke a buckle off on one of these old helmets, bro, you was out here cracking skulls. Nowadays, y'all got them zipping craps. Number 3, 1-inch armbands, a.k.a. the tank carters.
I hated those things.
Woo! Love me some 1-inch armbands. Never rocked them, but I do miss the days of watching an Auburn football player having 17 1-inch armbands all up on his arms and legs. Remember that too? They'd wear the heavy white socks and they'd rock like 6 of them suckers on their legs. Look like a zebra striped out there with the 1-inch armbands. Number 2, dead bodies over the middle of the field. I miss a little CTE. I miss a little day where, hey, you running shallow cross? That's sweet. I got a safety ready for you, and he gonna knock your teeth out. I do kind of miss it. Speaking of missing it, man, you kids nowadays don't know. SportsCenter Top 10, it just don't hit like it used to. It just don't. I miss that.
That was actually a really good sign. I appreciate that. That's not where I was taking it, though.
Where are you going?
So we are nearly halfway through the 2025 season, and as we approach the midpoint, I think it's time for us to reflect. You guys remember when Arch Manning was football Jesus and was going to bring the Texas Longhorns to a national title? And then because of that, Texas was the new Alabama running through the SEC. That the SEC ran through Austin, Texas.
I believe the direct quote was Arch Manning would be the most dynamic football player in 20 years.
Yeah, the new Tim Tebow. Remember when Penn State was a national champion contender, the top 2 ranked teams in the country, had a potential quarterback, won in the NFL draft, and Drew Aller? How about Clemson? Dabo's best team in years. They're back to that 2018 ways. It feels like a national championship's coming out of Death Valley this year. This segment was originally supposed to have like 4 or 5 of those references and just talk about how much things have changed. But in writing it, I actually realized something. We've getting more and more egregious oversights from the media year in and year out, and it's because the national media wants to put stories in front of us instead of substance. The major media outlets sell you on these crazy, outlandish theories, not because they're actually rooted in research and true things. It's because it gets you talking. It's the same reason why Arch is football Jesus, DJ Lagway's a Heisman sleeper, Lenora Sellers in South Carolina are playoff contenders, playoff dark horses. This happens in season 2. It's why last year or 2 years ago, we were talking about is Deion Sanders better than Nick Saban? We were talking about at the start of the season how Carson Beck was kicked to the curb by Georgia and left to dry, and now Miami has saved him and taken him in. All of these way outblown narratives that you get. How many teams have you heard talk about Colorado lately in the national media? Stuff like that you don't get. And this is what the national media does. It looks for the biggest story to hitch its wagon to and get people talking about it in hopes that it can ride it all the way to success. Just watch. Within the next few days or weeks, I guarantee you we're going to get headlines like, is Ty Simpson the next Joe Burrow? Are the Indiana Hoosiers the best team in the Big Ten? And just wait. It's only a matter of time before we get a Miami Hurricanes 2001 graphic next to the current Miami Hurricanes. So moving forward, please understand that when the national media is talking about something and inevitably pushes the next major story and picks its darling, it's not rooted in a thought of deep thought or thoughtful research. It's simply because it's the biggest hype train that it can attach its wagon to get you talking about it and create a hive mind.
I think we can all agree. Big national media, boo.
We are against the national media.
Big national brands, boo. Anybody trying to do it big time nationally, boo. Boo on them folks.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I think it's become where everybody is in a world where every take has to be the most extreme take. Like you're no longer allowed to have middling takes. You can't just take like everything either has to be the best of the best or the worst of the worst. Like every reaction, like all the reactions that I see from every football game that I watch is the losing team is, oh, we suck. This is horrible. We're the worst thing ever. Fire everybody. And when you win those games, it's we're the greatest thing ever. We're the national champs. We're the best team in college football. Why is nobody talking about us? And like, that's just become what it is. Like everybody has to have the most extreme take because you got to stand out somehow. You got to get people talking about your work or this team or whatever somehow, some way.
Guys, we're going way long, and that's on me. I was bogged down tonight. We got a lot of previews going into this weekend. Got a lot of great football games. Let's start with big noon kickoff, Ohio State at Illinois. My take going into this football game, guys, and I never thought I would say this. It is October 6th. We got, game 6 coming up for Ohio State. Illinois is the toughest and best offense that they will play all year.
Woof.
Now, I don't mean to say that slight in a knock on Luke Altmaier and the Fighting Illini. They're a really good offense. Hell, they won a shootout against USC. But this is the best offense that they will play all year long, and I don't know if they'll score 21 points.
No, I mean, that's a totally fair assessment in that it's going to be one of these things where we just have to assume that Ohio State is really, really good. And they have a good body of work to show that they are, but I don't think that they're going to get strained and pushed because we saw that Texas offense is not what anyone thought it was going to be.
I personally think defense wins championships, and if you had to make me pick a champion today, I would say Ohio State because I think it's going to take a C.J. Stroud versus Georgia in the Sugar Bowl level of performance to put up enough points to beat this football team. Is Dante Moore that good? That's the only one I got right now that I think might be.
I don't know if I'd go that far yet because we're talking about the biggest offensive test that they're going to have is against Illinois.
I know.
So defense is good.
Defense is great.
We just don't know yet. I don't feel like I know enough yet. They got a lot of talent, and the defenses certainly looked the part every single time that they've showed up on Saturday. But they just haven't been tested for me to say that in a college football playoff setting.
I know we just got done with the sensationalism segment.
I know.
But people don't come here for I don't know yet.
But that's reality. That's reality.
I know. But I'm going to stand on it. They're the best.
Hey, good for you.
They're great.
Go ahead, man. Hey, you got it.
By all means.
You got it. Give that take.
Thoughts on the game?
I was going to say, you're going to hate my next take.
I don't see Illinois having much of a shot,
Yeah.
honestly, considering what Illinois or what Indiana did to them.
What do you got for me? I'm going to hate your take.
Just next game.
Okay. Bama at Mizzou at noon. So
11.
A big SEC kickoff.
11 a.m.
11 o'clock local time
This
kickoff
isn't a
right
nooner.
here for these
This
guys.
is a breakfast ball.
Bama went out and fixed their run game offensively, and I felt like defensively in the second half against Vandy, but this is arguably a much, I'm not going to say a bigger test. It's a different test. It's a very different test for everybody that plays Missouri offensively. That wide zone concept, Ahmad Hardy getting one cut downhill against you guys, they're going to be a tough matchup for anybody. They're going to run the football successfully. My thing going to this game is I just don't know if Missouri has enough firepower to score with an offense from Alabama that I think is a rolling firepower offense right now.
This is definitely good.
Whoa.
This is an unfortunate, tough first true test for Missouri because you got an Alabama team that has had multiple consecutive weeks of playing high-caliber opponents, getting themselves tested, and answering with flying colors. And then they're going to walk on the road. And I know I just said it's 11 a.m. kickoff, but these guys have obviously ramped themselves up for a matchup like this. Like, this is nothing new for them, whereas Missouri, they've been just kind of like chopping their way throughout the season, and now it's like, oh, now it's Alabama. We get an opportunity to showcase what we are to the world. But there's just not enough to go off of for Missouri to know. Like, all I know about Missouri is that Ahmad Hardy is really good, probably the best back in the SEC, I would say. And Bo Pribula is playing good quarterback play for them. He's been a great find for them, a great addition for them. And if those things remain true for them, they're gonna be good in this game. They're gonna be fine. But defensively, it's a big test, and I don't know how they're gonna answer.
This is stylistically a much harder matchup for Alabama than Vanderbilt was, and I think that's interesting. I do think that Alabama is a more talented team and should be able to, like you said, score enough points to win.
The Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners facing off in the Red River Shootout at 3:30 this Saturday afternoon. What's your takeaway going into this football game?
Man.
Obviously, Texas licking their wounds.
This matchup has lost a lot of shine.
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, had I told you one of these football teams is going to be a top 10 opponent or a top 10 football team by the time Red River comes around, and the other one's going to be unranked. I don't think anybody would have picked Texas being the unranked team,
probably not.
Oklahoma being the top 10 football team.
And
Here
by the
we are.
way, the team that's inside the top 10 doesn't have their starting quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the other one's playing Michael Hawkins in this football game, which, by the way, I think we know for a fact because Vegas tells us.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm going from now on. I'm not even going to read your SEC injury report. Nonsense. If I think Oklahoma will material is like a 7-point favorite in this football game, and then I look up and Texas is favored by 2.5 points, you know something. You know that John Mateer ain't playing in this football game. That's what you know.
This is the perfect scenario for Oklahoma. You get a Texas team that is very clearly down. And by the way, if you lose this, you don't have John Mateer. You're playing with house money right now because even if losing to them will suck, but you can still, we didn't have our starting quarterback. Let us get our starting quarterback in, we'll beat you. We just saw what DJ Lagway did to you. So
you know what sucks? What sucks is having an unplayable left guard situation because if my left tackle's unplayable, we'll just chip over there or we'll avoid him or we'll roll out. There is no way to hide fresh food at left guard. There's just not. If you're getting beat instantly over the guard spot, there's no solving that. There's no figuring that out, and that's unfortunate.
This game's almost gotten to a point for me where I'm not even concerned about the quarterback position for either team.
We got a rock fight incoming.
Yeah, it's all about this is defense. This is going to be a low-scoring affair, in my opinion.
And you know what? Whatever you do, don't sleep. Don't sleep on a defensive battle, and don't sleep on our friends over at Sleeper. I want to give a quick shout-out to our friends over there as I get a little lump in my throat. Make sure you're heading over there today using promo code Brooks, getting a 100% deposit match up to $100. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world while earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. Again, guys, that is promo code Brooks over there for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And guess what, boys? They're also giving you a free 20 today. If you head over there right now, use promo code Brooks for first-time users. You second-time users are getting a free $20 as well over there. Limited time only on Sleeper. Shout out to those folks over there. Boys, Florida at A&M. How about A&M getting like 4 conference home games in a row and then being like, you know what? Take your ass on the road for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough pull, but this is not the game that I think Florida gets up. We've seen them get up time and time again, especially on the defensive side of the football. This feels like somewhat of a letdown spot for me. But then again, not letdown for Texas A&M, but letdown for Florida. I like Texas A&M in this position. I think it'll be a good game, but it would be Texas A&M-esque.
Texas A&M has been playing really well at home so far. They've shown that over the past couple of weeks, and Florida has continued to show fight every single game, despite where the program is at right now. So a tough task for them to do it a second time against a team in the state of Texas. This time you got to do it on the road. It's just going to be all about, is Florida's offense actually back? Are they finding consistency? If that's the case, then it's going to be a tight game and Florida's going to have a chance. But if we revert back to what we were just a couple of weeks ago, then it's going to be bad news.
For me, man, it's about offensive consistency again for A&M. We got to stop sputtering and stop turning the ball over, particularly. Some of those interceptions from Marcel Reed got to be cleaned up, and maybe I'll trust my man's choice in quarterback play at that point. But other than that, I can promise you this much: if you're Florida or if you're A&M, they will not make it as easy for you to remove Dallas Wilson as they did for you to remove Cam Coleman out of the game plan. We're going to talk about this in the local hour. I have never seen a great player just been left over there to be double teamed for 4 quarters like Cam Coleman was in that Auburn football game. So this is a different type of machine with regards to an X that's dominant and controllable or uncontrollable coming to town. So I think it might be a little bit different. Other than that, I still like A&M so far in the football game. Big one, College game day, headed out to Oregon to see the Indiana Hoosiers take on the Oregon Ducks, boys. Both of these teams had a week off to prepare. The last time we saw Oregon, they were winning an overtime football game at Penn State in a whiteout. Last time we saw Indiana, they were self-safetying to get out alive against Iowa.
Yeah. This will be the game that gets me bought in on Iowa or fully sold. Indiana. And Indiana doesn't even have to win it, honestly. If Indiana can make this competitive and close, I know it's kind of the joke we have where, hey, just lose the 2 games you're supposed to lose by less than 10 points. But if Indiana does actually keep this competitive with what I think is a very, very good Oregon team, I will buy them as a playoff team.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just had this thought. It's important as a football coach, no different than a jockey on top of a horse, to know when to give that push, right? When to really exhaust your horse in the middle of the race, or when at that time to get your team to rally and get the right message. Guys, I think Dan Lanning is one of these football coaches that understands the pulse of his football team, understands the message that they need to hear, and when to get them to rally and when to peak at the right time. Guys, the rest of this schedule their biggest remaining opponent after this weekend is travel. Honest to God. It's at Rutgers, Wisconsin, at Iowa, Minnesota, USC, at Washington. I think the toughest matchup there is maybe at Iowa or USC at home, one or the other. It doesn't matter. This is it. This is the last test on the slate for them. After this, they might be able to kick their feet up. This is an absolute get the rally the troops football game for Dan Lanning, and he normally does not miss in these situations.
Yeah, this feels like it's setting up to be a classic Signetti we're going to make it close in the fourth quarter even though we were down by 21 points entering it. So don't look at what the score was. Just pay attention to the fact that once the clock hit 0, we were only down by 10 points. We only lost this game by 10 points. So it feels like that's kind of what it's leading up to, and it's that way at the end of the year when everybody's just looking back at the schedule and they forget what happened in this game. It's like, oh, well, Indiana played Oregon close. Not really. They kind of did, but not really.
Hey, we got another loaded hour coming up next here on the Local Hour. See you on the other side. Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? Really like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. Let's shut up and let's grind. A couple of busts we got to talk about. We put 2 D's in one hole. All right, can't be doing this. I better pursue that butt, right? You know, all that penetration creates problems. Hey, follow his butt. Let these big boys take you. He wants to hold the ball, hit his ass. So-and-so some poop. I'm like, all right. Hey, welcome into our Local Hour. We got a loaded one for you. We got game reactions from the boys today. I've got film notes. How about that? It is Monday at 9 o'clock, and yours truly already got offensive defensive film out for you. Guess what we got tomorrow? You don't even know, do you? This is a surprise for you.
I just show up and work. What's
up? We got Pugga notes. We got Pugga film study going up on Patreon only. We're going to put Pugga behind a paywall. How about that? How about Pugga behind a paywall? Sunday's headlines.
Could you put more emphasis on the P next time?
Pugga behind a paywall.
There you go.
How about that? Our audio complainers are really going to like that one.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
We get more your audio sucks complaints than anybody else that has almost 75,000 subscribers on the internet. There ain't no damn doubt about that. And I apologize, but you know what? Maybe one day we'll have a professional audio technician come in here and fix everything. We've had several, and then they come in, they fix it, they get it dialed. This StreamYard wants to act like a you-know-what.
Yeah.
So here we are, figuring it out on the fly. Got a great show for you guys tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and review. And boys, I had plenty of time on Sunday to give my thoughts. My opening thought on Sunday was I didn't learn much about nothing on Saturday. I felt like they beat Kentucky like they beat Marshall and Austin Peay.
I mean, I guess you could come away with that takeaway, but I do feel like there are things to take away from that game.
Take on away then.
The biggest one I think that we saw is that we saw some of the improvements that we needed to see, especially from certain players. There was a lot of questions about the secondary, and there still are some questions. There are still some red flags, as you would expect with a team that's this young, but they came out and handled it. I think we did learn that this Georgia team is able to run the football against whoever and whatever. Not necessarily anything we didn't know. We also, I think, saw Gunnar Stockton take a little bit more risks with the ball downfield. Now, the offense didn't necessarily force him to do so or didn't ask him to do so or put him in situations where he had to, but I do think that we saw Gunnar Stockton kind of understand, all right, I need to at sometimes feel like I'm forcing the ball down the field because it's what's ultimately going to make this offense go.
I think my biggest thing about this game was if you're a fan and you walk away from that game any type of angry, There's just never going to be any pleasing you because, I mean, that was like the most ideal route of beating Kentucky at home this week, other than the injuries. That was like the only thing about that game that was like, man, I wish that would have gone better. Other than that, it was offense was efficient. You got off to a hot start. I mean, you're very consistent other than a couple of times where you got into some penalty situations and the interception. Like, other than that, I thought the offense just did whatever they wanted to. They moved the ball down the field. Defensively, you got some turnovers. They made some crucial stops. Like, I thought it was a clean game, top to bottom. I just thought it was like the best case scenario if you want to beat Kentucky, and that's the fashion you want to do it. That's the route you take.
I got film notes. You want them?
Yeah.
First and foremost, tremendous amount of respect. I mean, so much respect that it's 35-7 with 6 minutes left in the third. We're going to pull them their starters.
Mm-hmm. I think that
We're
was
going to pull them their starters, Kirby.
I think that was more of a, hey, we need to get these young guys as many reps as possible.
All fine and dandy. I also think there was a lot of, hey, our quarterback's got 130 yards passing. We could probably get him some more confidence. But we respect the other guy on the other sideline. That's what I thought that was. I thought it was a combination of both. Our young guys got to play, and we are not going to hang up 52 points on Mark Stoops today. That's not what we are here to do. Mm-hmm. We are here to get out of here, control the football game, and win. And by the way, watching the film, I felt like Kentucky called the same exact game on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
The other side of the ball defensively, Kentucky's game plan was we're going to rush 4, drop 7, keep everything up underneath. If they want to walk the ball 14 plays because they're better than us, they'll do that. And we'll lose this game 35-14, and we'll be happy with that leaving. That's what I felt.
It was
what?
It's interesting, though, because why would you do that if you're Kentucky?
You've played them close so many times.
Well, I mean, guys, the game plan, it can't be we're going to go throw bombs on them because they're offensively limited.
Oh, no, they can't do that.
Do that.
But, like, why would you concede to getting the ball walked down your throat?
Well, I think the game plan, by the way, I think every underpowered team should be doing this to Georgia. I think the game plan should be we're going to play soft zones and hopefully he throws it to us or checks it down all day. They might get a penalty. They might get a sack. They might get a negative play. Now they're punting because it's 3rd and 16.
I mean, yeah, I suppose that is
the answer's not going to be we're going to line up and beat these guys.
Yeah.
No.
It can't be.
No.
It cannot be the game plan. You will die a quick death as opposed to a very slow, methodical one.
I thought it was more just, hey, my approach would have been let's load this box and let's force Gunnar Stockton to beat us in a softer zone coverage. I don't know why we need to drop 8.
They tried to a little bit later. They tried to roll into a cover 3, roll some guys down, and it just didn't work. So, but no, I think Kirby's even talked about this. He said when you get into more closer, more competitive SEC games, guys walk down on you, and you can't have some of those easy access throws.
Right.
Which we've seen. But, yeah, that was my foremost note. 6 minutes left in the third quarter, 35-7, pulling starters. Let's start with the offensive notes. First and foremost, I thought the primary takeaway from offensive film study was Juan Gaston is going to be and already is a really special football player. He's only going to get better. There is a play, y'all ran counter to death like you should have in this football game, and that's a good thing for you guys. To go into a football game knowing a defensive structure is vulnerable to one run concept and then running that ad nauseum down their gullet, that's great football. That's great running football. But there's a play in there where he's got what we call a 7 technique, right? A defensive end lined up over his right shoulder, and we're running counter to him, meaning he's got to take that 7 technique and move him against his will back inside of his body and then drive him off the line of scrimmage. And he does so. He takes a 300-pound human and just, come here, son, and then walks him up off the line of scrimmage. He did a lot of that on Saturday. On top of the fact that he is really powerful and really strong, he might be the most fluid mover on the football team at that size.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not very many humans that big, but he is a great athlete. There's another counterplay where instead of being on the front side, he's the puller. And 99.9% of humans are falling right on their face. And instead, he just continues somehow to run through the play and almost knock over 3 Kentucky defenders. He is an extremely good football player. Second play of the football game, they've got a touchdown to Noah Thomas. I mean, it's a 65-yard bang, explosive right there, as has been the case all year long. Somebody gets beat. And I want to call out, it's on the film, you can see it. Somebody gets beat across their face. Now we got a pressure on the quarterback. We can't throw the bomb. Boom. Where's Noah Thomas's usage? It would have been right there. Okay, at least to start the football game. They tried. They are trying. It's just a matter of getting it on the same page and getting lucky enough sometimes to have those things hit. I thought Gunnar's legs versus drop coverage was a main thing in this football game. And it should be. If they want to rush 3 and drop 8, buddy, you need to run. I don't want you sitting back there trying to fit a ball into a tight window. Take off. Let's get into 3rd and 2, and then we can quarterback run them, and we might chunk them with an explosive. That's exactly what happened on Saturday, right? 2nd and 10. Automatic passing down for most football teams. Kentucky's rushing 3, dropping 8. Gunnar realizes it, takes off for a scramble, picks up 8 yards. Now it's 3rd and 2. We get into a quarterback read option. Boom. 20-yard chunk on him on a short yardage situation. That's the type of football that they need to play offensively until he does get far more comfortable and confident reading some of these deep overs. That's the other thing that I really appreciated about the offensive game plan. They did not ask this kid to go out there and do things that he's uncomfortable doing. They let him get comebacks. They let him get hitches. They let him do a little Hugo, right? The one time Kentucky dared to play man-to-man coverage, guess what happened? Dylan Bell, 40-yard explosive. Bang, just like that. So I really appreciated that about the offensive game plan and all that good stuff. It was a check down and yak football game, right? They're going to bail hard. Let's check the football down. Let's let our athletes go after the play and make, tremendous plays after the catch. Cash Jones made one of these on 3rd down for a touchdown. Oscar Delp had a massive explosive after the catch. That's the type of stuff I think they need to get far more comfortable doing against zone coverage. Guys, you're good enough running the football. You don't have to really seek all this explosive natured football when teams are playing zone coverage, drop coverage to get you. Be methodical. You're good enough to do so, I think, personally. Do what, honestly, you know who does this? Bama. Bama does this with their quarterback. They're not out here. Now, there are some 20-yard chunk plays in that, but when teams are playing heavy drop zone coverage, they're dumping the ball off to Ryan Williams, letting him run around for a little bit, right? I would do the same thing in this offense, and it looks like they're trending to do so, huh?
They did it against Georgia pretty well.
Yeah, and you do this well. I think you do. I think you do this really, really well. So that's a good thing. Like I said, I think you ran counter for 8 yards a pop.
Yeah.
You shoved it down their throat like you should have. Felt like Gunnar played more confident, as we mentioned. Bo Hughley's got to stop leaning in the run game. There's no doubt about it. We just got to bring our feet. There's multiple times where it looks like our feet are poured in concrete. We can't have that happening. I thought my answer is the only answer is to jump rope. I know it sounds goofy, but we want foot speed. Go get on a ladder and go jump rope. That's the only answer.
Chase the chicken.
Chase the chicken. Yeah, do that. Like do whatever. I got it's a side story. ADD going crazy right now, but he's winnable in pass pro. Mm-hmm. Really winnable in pass protection. So that's good stuff there. Micah Morris, the puller, is diabolical. Diabolical. That is a very large man running at you.
I feel like he's kind of been overlooked a little bit this season just because you have 2 true freshmen playing. So their bright moments obviously going to overshadow what the veteran is doing. But Micah Morris, for a guy that is starting for the first time consistently in his career, has been really solid for you. Like, I feel like when Monroe Freeling and Micah Morris are in, that entire left side of the offensive line is just being ignored right now because it's the vets are doing their job. They're just doing what they're supposed to do.
That's how offensive line play is. If you're doing your job, nobody's talking about you. I think it does need to be pointed out he's playing hurt right now. Yeah. He's playing really, really tough, and I like to acknowledge that stuff because it's not common in college football nowadays. Guys out there gutting it out when they don't necessarily have to. He is being one of those football players right now. I feel like as a national audience and a national opinion show, we have to recalibrate our opinions on Gunnar Stockton, the runner of the football.
Yeah,
going into the season, I thought this was just going to be some play with the screws north and south. Let's get yards after contact. Let's run through arm tackles. No, he's made guys miss 2 weeks in a row.
Do you think it's partially because they're caught off guard?
Sneaky athleticism?
Yeah.
I think Gunnar Stockton is the definition of sneaky athleticism. Like everyone talking about, Stetson Bennett's sneaky athletic. I think Gunnar Stockton.
That was a 4.52 running SOB.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton.
Nothing sneaky about Stetson's juice.
Gunnar Stockton's the sneaky athlete, in my opinion.
Got some quick twitch to him. You see it in the pocket when he evades the pocket. It's quick.
Got some real grittiness to him.
Chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, chip off the old block too.
Yeah.
Pops was a cutthroat man himself. But yeah, we need to recalibrate those. Yeah. We got to start talking about this guy a little bit different. And the Alabama play was the one that I was like, whoa. We're bouncing twice?
Yeah, that was...
You bounced twice.
That was wild.
That was crazy to see. So we got a slippery snake, Sneaky snake.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Oscar Delp, has always moved like that.
Yeah, man.
I saw some people questioning that. Like, dude, that was a 4.51 runner out of high school. Like, that dude can always move. Now, I do think he has dropped some weight in season.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem as big as he was last year. He was 255 last year.
He was
at times.
huge.
He was
last
massive
year.
last year. And I think it's funny, like, we saw that one play and people were like, why is Oscar Delp not getting the ball more? Why are the tight ends not getting the ball more? It was just funny to see the fan base freak out like that about how Oscar Delp isn't getting the touches he deserved. And now I agree that Oscar Delp could probably be featured a little bit more in this offense, but that's just not how it's worked out so far. And I don't know why there's complaints about it. Like, the idea that we have to find the next Brock Bowers every year because he's no longer here is very interesting.
And the
Kirby
fact
was
that
asked about it today, and he was like, Are you asking me if I would like Brock Bowers back?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
The answer
is yes. We're looking for him. The problem is he might be generational. You know, he might be, and I know that term is often used nowadays, but like guys like Brock Bowers are once in a lifetime. I don't know if you're going to find another one. That's unfortunate.
On top of that, like they've been trying to get him in those positions. They've been trying to get him in yak opportunities, but kind of similar to what the case has been for Noah Thomas this year of it's not because they're not trying or they don't want to get the ball to them. It's just the ball has not been able to get to them. So
also, like Kirby's been very, very critical of the tight ends after the catch so far this year. That was the first sign of there it is. I guarantee you Oscar's going to be featured a little bit more in some of these yards after the catch opportunities. That's how you do it at Georgia. You earn them. Yeah. There's no secret. Colby Young's been getting them all. Colby Young's been getting all if we throw him the ball at 3 yards, it'll end up 2nd and 3. That dude's going to carry 3 bodies for 3 yards. It's going to be a 7-yard reception with a 3-yard throw. I know it if I give it to 8. I think we might have known now if we give it to 4, he's going to go earn that. So glad to see them handling stunts in the run game. I know that's a nerdy thing that only we talk about.
It's
Nobody
an important
else really
thing,
cares.
bro.
It's so important.
Ole Miss
so
is going to do that to you in oblivion. They did to you last year and won the game because of it.
We'll watch Pugga's reps tomorrow on Patreon. Pugga on Patreon. Patreon Pugs. Defense.
Let's get into it.
Does the common Georgia football fan know how good a football C.J. Allen's playing right now?
No, because they're focused on other things. Okay. I'm glad you're mentioning it, though.
They don't.
I have seen more.
Three's playing special football right now.
I've seen more. Man, C.J. Allen has underwhelmed me this year. I thought he was going to be great than I have seen from any other Georgia fan base about a defensive player. And and here's why. Because he's not flashing like Roquan.
Buh. Nobody's going to flash like Roquan, but that dude's flashing.
Oh yeah, but
that dude is flashing left and right.
Let me change the verbiage. He's not making highlight flash
on
plays.
TV plays.
He's not blitzing the A gap and killing Nick Fitzgerald.
That third down.
Yeah,
he was trying to kill somebody.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes,
he was going for that. I'm gonna hit you in your chest and helicopter you right quick.
The one where they converted the third down. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
On the jet sweep.
But yeah, no, like that's what C.J. Allen is missing from his arsenal of, oh my God, this is the best Georgia linebacker we've ever had. It's unfortunate because if you're not making those plays, it automatically goes to, man, this guy's really underwhelming. I thought he was going to be great.
You know who else was playing great ball? Dalen Everett.
Yes.
And I compared it to like pinch hitting today on the film.
I thought this was a good take.
Like, dude never gets hunted. He never gets attacked. So it's like coming up off the bench in a ninth inning game, bottom of the ninth. Like, you got to go get a hit, or we're gonna lose the football or the baseball game. Same thing with Dalen right now. He'll go out there for 68 snaps, and of the 63 of them, he's just out there doing his job. Nobody's even paying attention to him. In fact, they're going away from him. They're throwing away from him. They're never attacking him. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're right at him. And guess who's making a play every single time? 6. And I asked him about this today. I was like, dude, it's got to be different, right? You go from when Kamari's over there, you're getting hunted left and right. You're getting hunted all the time. And now it's flipped. You're never getting attacked. And when you are, you're showing up and making plays. So how do we make sure we're locked in? How do we make sure we're ready when it is our time? He said he has someone, and he didn't name the coach, but there is a coach every single time when he walks onto the field, tells him, don't fall asleep. This might be the one. Don't fall asleep. They might get you this time. And that's how he approaches. He says every snap he's telling himself, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. You could see it in his play, man. He is locked right now. He's playing great football.
Agreed.
Felt like when the plan was to rush or get pressure, you got home or moved him off his spot. We're going to talk more about that today. There's very clearly some confusion in the pass rush sometimes. And I think I know what it is. Like, look, Chris Cole's a great football player. There's no doubt, but he's still a young football player. He's a young football player that last year was on the field to cover. Then towards the end of last year, we're trying to grow him as an inside linebacker. All offseason, we're growing him as an inside linebacker. And then this summer, we're like, oh, crap. And this spring, we're like, oh, crap, hey, we need you to rush. Now we're teaching him jack, and now we're teaching him how to rush. And there's very clear, obvious signs on film where I'm not going to say 9 doesn't know what he's doing, but 9's not playing free. And I need that kid to play free, all right, because he's still a very young football player, and that's obvious to me on tape, all right? 52 is playing selfless football. Kristen Miller is playing some of the most underrated, under-talked about, great run defense first and second down. I would like him to finish on second and third down when we're in obvious passing sets, but at least he's pushing people off the spot. The other thing that was a bright spot on Saturday was Joshua Horton. Like Joshua Horton showed up, and showed up often on film on Saturday, and you need some of that immediate twitch, right? You need some of that immediate win rate right now at defensive tackle, and I think he's giving you some of that. You've got good options right now in defensive tackle. It's just about getting home and finishing. Felt like KJ played his most decisive football game, all right? Chat, I misread that. Yeah, I feel like KJ played really, really clean, really well, and decisive downhill, immediate action into the fits on Saturday. It's also very clear to me why Kyron Jones is playing.
Yeah.
Kyron Jones is playing good football. He's playing passable football in the secondary as a pass defender, but in the run game, it's very obvious why 31's the guy. And I'm not going to call anybody else out, but the other guys got in the game, missed tackles. There's just no doubt about it. Like, you're in the run fit. You got C-gap and beyond. You're an alley player right now. Come up, make a play. Nope. On your face. Like, the 31's playing for an obvious, clear-cut reason, and we didn't see it stick out until we saw the other guys in on Saturday, in my opinion. Justin Williams peaking.
He's playing. He's getting there, getting better.
It's happening. It's like night and day from week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Austin Peay guards rolling over us, and now we're taking it to Kentucky offensive linemen. That's good stuff from 19. I felt like something clicked for him in that Alabama football game on that screen pass. Maybe we're playing a lot more decisive, a lot more downhill, a lot more confident in what we're seeing. Ellis seems concerned about getting beat vertically.
Yeah, and I think it's probably because it's happened a handful of times now. It happened obviously in the Tennessee game. It happened once in the Bama game. I think that he is probably just not comfortable being on the field. Not necessarily being comfortable being on the field, but comfortable with his athletic abilities yet.
I think it's more so almost he's not comfortable in the role that he's in.
Yeah.
I think it's being uncomfortable of being the guy that you are getting attacked now. Like, you're the guy that everybody is throwing towards right now. And I think this is the positive that you take away from Ellis at the moment is for, like, he has some, I hate even calling them bad moments because I wouldn't really say like a bad moment on Saturday, but for every moment that you're kind of like, number one, got to see better, he has another moment where it's like, that's it right there. That's exactly why Ellis was rated the way he was coming out of high school. That's exactly why he's playing. He's on the field for Georgia right now. And eventually, as a young football player, as we progress throughout the season, you get more reps, you get more opportunities. You'll feel like that becomes a more consistent part of his game. I think he'll get there eventually. It's just a matter of time.
You look like you're reading something interesting.
Yeah, we get media availability tomorrow at noon.
Oh.
Justin Williams and Lawson Lucky.
We're getting players now.
That must have been because the media was tweeting like.
Yeah, they were unhappy.
A little frustrated.
Small talk.
Now, me personally, I'm excited that I get to drive out to Athens tomorrow to talk to Justin Williams and Lawson Lucky. I'm juiced about that. I'm good on film notes.
Yeah.
Should we hand out game balls?
Let's hand out.
Do it.
Y'all go ahead. Start with the offensive side of football. I got plenty of options, so don't feel as if you're going to pigeonhole me into selections because I got nominees. Right? I got OLIs.
All eyes for the game ball?
Yeah. Little outside looking in, almost did but didn't.
I think
nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
That thing is awesome.
You can get this at the merch link below, actually, in multiple colors.
This one, too.
Man, you could be looking fresh all week with all the merch that we got over there.
I'm saying.
I think it would be a disservice to do the offensive game balls without mentioning this player of Dylan Bell. I think that I could speak for almost everybody of so good to see that guy have a really good, complete game because like coming out of 2023, it was this guy is going to explode this upcoming season because he has it. He has the explosive playmaking. They're getting the ball to him, and when he does, special things happen. They're using him in so many different ways. And then last year happens, and then coming into this year, it felt like it was still kind of taking some time for him to get back comfortable into his role. And now, finally, in this game, you get him on some end arounds. He scores twice. You get a one-handed catch from him down the sidelines to make an explosive play. So good to see Dylan Bell have a great game this past weekend.
Yeah, I think Dylan Bell is probably the most deserving of the Game Ball Award simply because of the performance he had and everything he had to go through last season, especially from the fan base kind of, talking down on him. So I certainly agree with that. Another name I put in was Elias Williams. I feel like this was one of the first times we saw him getting run with the ones. Like I even texted J-Will first quarter, Elias Williams appearance ? So they had made a very big effort to get the tight end.
I lobbed a, hey, coach, I'm watching ball question today.
You asked him about 13 personnel?
No. I asked him about Elias' point of the attack blocking. Because second play of the game, it was very clear to me. They're like, all right, 10, you want the ball today? Go out there and block that defensive end. And then once you get done blocking him, get up to the linebacker and let's see how you handle this Trey front side right quick. And what did he do? Buried the SOB. Buried him. Then got the ball.
I feel like I had a cool moment during the game. I don't have very many of these.
You got loads of them. You're a ball knower nowadays.
Well, I just have paying attention to who's running onto the field and who's running off the field. And it didn't happen because they called a timeout. I think it was
down
Kentucky
distance formation personnel check?
I was peeping game, all right? I was trying
yeah.
to figure it out. And I think it's Georgia's second drive of the game. And I see Lawson Lucky, Oscar Dope, and Elias Williams run on the field 13 personnel. And it didn't get shown. They showed it later in the game, but they were trying to run it there. I think it was on a crucial down. I want to say it's 3rd and short, and they went 13 personnel. And I texted Kirby. I was like, dude, they tried to run 13 personnel right there. We didn't get to see
13 PP. You got to love it.
13 PP.
They was out here in Twix, too. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
They was out here in Sticks and Twix. Got to love it.
But no, yeah, I have Elias Williams as my offensive game ball.
Definition of a player of doesn't matter how, anytime the ball gets in his hands, it's
whoa.
It's just cool to watch. It's watching a guy that big move in space. Just something to be
my selections were Juan Gaston. Y'all said Dylan Bell and Micah Boris.
Those are good options.
I also had Juan Gaston on my list.
How about defense? Who you got? Game ball.
Before we move on, though, I do want to give a shout out. Nate Frazier had a really good game.
Good bounce back.
Really good bounce back game. I feel like a lot of the fan base was kind of disgusting.
No yards on tape, I didn't feel like.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it's first time, long time, we watched Nate take multiple totes and felt like he pressed every gap correctly.
Maximize the opportunities.
Sometimes he does a little bit too much. Sometimes he doesn't do enough. I thought he did the right amount on Saturday.
Shout out to Nate Frazier.
Shout out Nate Frazier.
Defensively, I went with, I'll go second, Jay. Well, you can take this one.
Oh.
Because I have a feeling that I know who you're going to want to pick, and I don't want to steal him from you.
Oh, no. You can have that one.
I got the Dirtiest Uni Award.
Okay.
Dirtiest uniform on Saturday. Who had it?
Dirtiest uniform.
This guy plays like he's got a dirty uniform, too.
I don't know.
Quintavious Johnson.
Quintavious
Johnson got the dirtiest uni every single Saturday. And you know what I love about his dirty uni? It's dirty on the front, not dirty on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You know what that means? That means we playing. That means we playing ball. If we're dirty on our back, we are not playing ball. But if we dirty on that belly and them legs, we out here laying it on the line.
That's right.
33 got a dirty uni every single Saturday. A dirty yurdy every Saturday.
All right, my defensive game ball, and there's a lot of players that I felt like earned the right to do this. I went with Dom Kelly. I felt like he showed how bright the future is.
That
at the
boy
quarterback
strapped.
Yeah,
Dom too.
Obviously had a lot of opportunities to get picked on. Had a couple of penalties in that game. Got chewed out by Kirby Smart. That's just a rite of passage as a Georgia DB, but he showed that the future is very bright at that cornerback position. So shout out to him.
Brooks and I think we talked about this on the car ride home from the game it was very obvious that when Dom Kelly got onto the field, somebody on Kentucky's sideline was like, hey, that's a 17-year-old. That's a true freshman who reclassed. We're just going to throw to him. Mm-hmm. And then you left that game and other teams like, hey, there's 8 reps on tape of reasons why you should not throw that guy's way.
I mean, the dirtiest uni on the field every single Saturday, Quintavious Johnson.
Man.
Putting it on the line.
Yeah, when the threes are green, that's good stuff.
Out here grinding. Oh, my Lord.
My defensive game ball, though, I'm going to give it to Josh Horton. After watching film today, I was like, that guy deserves a game ball. I haven't gotten to see a whole lot of him, or at least you haven't walked away from games thinking like, oh, Josh Horton was a really good player today for Georgia. Not to say that he hasn't been in previous games, but I felt like on Saturday, the action that you saw from him, the reps that he took, he had a very, very meaningful impact on that defensive line. That's a great sight to see that. Maybe you're getting even more depth to that room.
Anybody mention CJ?
Nope.
No.
Left him for you.
Needs to, though.
Anybody mention Jonel Aguero?
No.
He's playing good football right now. Dalen Everett, we talked about. I thought KJ, we talked about as well. Playing good football. Special Teams Award. I'm giving it to Cash Jones.
Man, he deserves it.
A big tackle on a squib.
Yeah, he did.
How about giving an operation for a situational chance right there?
Yeah.
Maximizing the opportunities as a football staff. Hey, they messed around, gave us a free 15. Let's get a rep. Let's get a rep. Instead of kicking it out of the back of the end zone, let's get a rep at trying to pin them inside their 15. Good ball.
Almost like special teams can matter at some point.
I did not say that.
I did. I'll say it for you. Because
I
I know that's what you're trying to get at.
Coach Benedict, I did not say that. He said that. I did.
But I know that's what you're trying to get at
Sure.
in a moment where it's like, oh, it just means they're going to kick it to the stands.
Sure.
It was,
Special
we'll
teams
squib it.
always
We'll pin
matter.
him even deeper. For my special teams award, I know he's a common name cycled throughout this, but he actually deserves it this weekend. Of Brett Thorson had a big punt on Saturday. I mean,
Good day, Mike.
freaking coffin corner him right on the 1 yard line. Flip the field, do your job. Brett Thorson, shout out to the Aussie. Great to see him back.
Yeah, I went London Humphreys as the gunner for the exact reason you said. The wherewithal to slap the ball out of bounds on that. Very heads-up play, very high IQ. And he's always been a good gunner for Georgia since he's gotten here. So shout out to London Humphreys. I'm giving him the special teams game ball.
We love it.
Who's the coach? I give the coach of the game ball to the coaches, to Stacey Searles. Offensive line doing a really, really good job running the ball at will. Also, honorable mention to who shall not be named, the football coach that gave us shouts as we were doing our walk and talk this week.
Absolutely.
Shout out to that football coach, obviously a friend of the program.
Absolutely.
Must be listening. He appreciates us sticking up for his football team every once in a while.
No.
Yeah.
We appreciate him.
I'd love to hear who that was after we go.
We will give you that.
Thanks.
We'll give you that.
I went with
only two of us there, but maybe one of these days.
Oh, who knows?
Who knows?
Right?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's out of our control.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
maybe.
But I went with Coach Uzo Duribe. I feel like the
Ooh.
outside linebackers played a really, really good game. They didn't make
can't
any.
get home. Can't get home. Have no pressures.
Well, we'll talk about that later. But no, I felt like they drew up a really good game plan for that. You got a lot of good rotation in there. No one really busted. It was a great operation for them. So shout out to him.
I'll give it to Glenn Schumann for the linebacker play. Justin Williams popped. C.J. Allen popped. Chris Cole had some big plays. I thought Raylan Wilson did his job like he always does. I thought you had some big moments from your linebackers. They played clean. That's what you usually expect from them, and that should be awarded. So shout out to Schumann for having those boys right.
All right, let's talk about some things we're worried about. Through 5 games, 5?
Yes, you're 4-1.
Through 5 football games so far this point in the regular season, what are some things you are still worried about? I only really have 2. Well, kind of 3. Number 1, losing an explosives match. I really worry about if you're like down 14, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we got to score quickly, get a stop, score quickly again. I worry about that type of ability on this offense so far at this point in the season. If the other team is not just absolutely playing bump and run man-to-man coverage with a freshman corner. Looking at you, Tim Banks. Apart from that, I discipline defensively is obviously a concern at this point. We just gave shouts to Jonell. His eyes were bad on one play, and you gave up a 35-yard explosive to a tight end. Can't have that happen in a playoff football game or a must-win situation. That would scare me. Ball in the air still scares me to a point at this point in the season. But after that, that's about it. Those are my lone concerns at this point in the season. An explosives battle, you might lose, and I discipline playing the ball in the air.
This concern definitely got amplified after this week for me. Injuries and staying healthy is a big one for me now, especially with how many guys. I felt like once a drive, you had an offensive lineman coming up gimp or limping off or having to play through something. So that's not necessarily something you control, but it is definitely a concern for me moving forward. To Brooks's point, playing from behind is also a big one. And I don't know if it's necessarily if you're down 14 points in the fourth quarter. I think if you're just in a situation where you need to march down the field and do it quickly, I have full faith that if Georgia wants to take the air out of the football and have a 6-minute run it down your throat drive, they can do that against any team in the country. What I don't necessarily know is if we've got the ball left with a minute and we're trying to get some points before the half, or if we need a game-winning 2-minute drill type of drive. I don't know if Georgia's offense is capable of that. I think that's a concern. Not that they can't do it, but it is something, kind of a red flag for me. Coverage bust on defense is also one for me. And the other one I'll get to when we get to the other discussion that we're going to have.
I would say the depth around offensive line is a little concerning. Just because
sport.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. But, I mean, especially since the ones that you guys have rattled off already, that'd be like the only other one that you fear. But everybody fears injury up front on the offensive line. Like, if your starting left tackle goes down, you're going to be concerned about the backup left tackle or what, like this, that, and the other. No matter whose position it is, you're going to be concerned about it. But, again, as you mentioned, that's just the nature of the sport right now.
What's going on?
God.
What?
We got people benching Arch Manning already.
Oh, Tennessee's already claimed him in the transfer portal. You hadn't heard? They got the edits made, dude.
The he's fallen off takes might be hotter than the he's going to be the greatest takes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my God.
Yeah, Tennessee already claimed him. Sorry, guys.
That's
but,
tough. Sorry.
So nobody mentioned pass rush.
Make sure you're in that thumbs up button.
Nobody mentioned pass rush as a concern. That seems to be the biggest concern for everybody.
Yeah. A big, huge concern. Massive. Terrified. I watched it today. We broke it down today. Here's what I thought. And look, I'm Mr. Defends the Staff is what I've been labeled, I feel like, as of lately. And I will say that my interpretations of what I see on film happen to be the same thing your football coach often says. And I don't know if that's just we see the game the same way or we have the same excuses. I don't know what it is. But here's what I see. I see half the time Saturday, your defensive end was chipping the tight end from Tennessee or from Kentucky. You were playing zone coverage in the middle of the field. You did not want free releases from inline tight ends, so you chipped that guy. Meaning we're rushing 3 almost every single down. So the idea, the fourth adds into the rush late, but the idea that we're like selling our soul to make sure we get home, not the case. You never do, by the way. Since Dan Lanning has left this staff, you are not someone who's even going to blitz. You pressure, but you rarely ever blitz, particularly in the middle of the field. You might blitz in the red zone. That's been your identity. Everybody's a cover 0 football team, though, inside the 5 because we're trying to keep people out of the box and we're using the back line as essentially a safety. So, you play some cover 0 down there, but you are not an overwhelmingly blitz football team. That's not what you prioritize. You prioritize keeping everything underneath, limiting explosives. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Secondly, when you did pressure on Saturday, I felt like you were getting home. And I felt like you were getting home to the point of either sacks or pushing him off of his spot. So 50% of the time, we're really not prioritizing rush, we're prioritizing coverage. The 25% of the time that we are prioritizing pressure via a 5-man pressure, you're getting home, moving him off the spot. The other 25% of the time on Saturday, they were doing everything they could to roll him up out of the pocket, as almost every opponent does against you guys, because you've recruited inside the top 5 at the defensive line positions since Kirby Smart's been there.
Here's my concern with the pass rush, and it's not anything of like, oh, they can't get to there. You look at the stat sheets like they have no sacks. That's not mine. I think my concern comes with it from, I don't know if you have a guy or a group of guys that can win one-on-ones consistently right now.
Oh, no, you don't. You do not have a premier pass rusher.
And that's where I think, and I think that there were a handful of opportunities on Saturday that you saw where it's like, man, it's 4-on-4 right now and no one's able to get through just because you can't win the one-on-ones. I think another thing that worried me, or not necessarily worried me, but it's something that has to improve drastically once you get home finishing. Because it's not like they had Jalen Miller out there last week. You had Cutter Boley, and he was making guys miss on certain. Like the first missed sack on that drive, pretty awful.
Yeah.
So that's the concern where I have right now.
Chris Cole's got him dead to rights.
Yeah. I mean,
those are the ones.
Like that. There's no doubt. But it feels like to me the primary point of concern is we're just not getting there. No, you're getting there. You're just not finishing right now. That is a concern. You're right.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where my more concerning thing is. It's like I'm not worried about like, man, they've got 20 seconds to hang out in the pocket all the time they want. It's, do we have a guy that can win his one-on-ones, which right now you probably don't, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be a development throughout the season. And when we finally get home, can we finish that job?
We got a ball knower in the chat. Tagging Bama, and I don't think he knows how much of a ball knower realization this is. I pointed this out to you today because you were in here watching the film study. Ty Simpson might be the only quarterback in college football taking 5-step drops out of the gun. Might be the only one. Now, he doesn't do it every time, but that offense is taking full 5-step drops out of play action in the shotgun. And I don't see very many college offenses doing that.
It's a long way to go to get a quarterback.
It is. It is a long way to go. But, I mean, he's still getting the ball. And on those 5-step drops, he was getting rid of the ball in 3.1 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insane right now what they're doing from a passing game standpoint.
Going back to this pass rush discussion of let me put it this way, and not to bring something else into the conversation, but I promise I'm going to bring it back to this conversation of coming from an Atlanta Falcons fan who has suffered for the last 8 years of not having a pass rush, like ranking dead last consistently in the league in pass rush. I know what a bad pass rush looks like. And what it looks like is a quarterback sitting like a statue in the pocket, analyzing the field and doing whatever he wants. There was not a single moment where I thought that Kentucky or Cutter Boley had the opportunity to do that, or any quarterback this season has had the opportunity to do that. You may not be getting the guy on the ground, but there are also moments where even if he was getting it out, it was a cloudy pocket. He was having to throw through some trash, or he's trying to escape out of the pocket and do a lot of other things. So would you like to see more sacks? Absolutely. Which college football coach, even if you lead the nation in sacks, you want to see more of them. So I don't think it's anything to be like, man, I think this is what's going to break this team.
There's a lot of people that ask, like, what's going on with Elo Mendoza? What's going on there? Like, I think it's more of a sign of this will happen to you if you're not careful with the portal than anything else. If Damon Wilson's on this roster, I don't know if this looks like it looks currently.
Oh, yeah, no, I guarantee you it doesn't. And I think that's kind of what Georgia fans have kind of become accustomed to. Like the last 4 or 5 years, you've had a guy that wins and wins now, from whether it was Devontae Wyatt slicing against in the 3 technique, or Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis, or even last year, Jalen Walker. Like, they've always had this win now, win fast guy. Yeah, Mykel Williams, even when he was healthy. Like, guys like that when they need to peel their ears back and go, they could win now. I don't know if you necessarily have that, and that is a concern, and that is fair to say, but that doesn't mean your pass rush sucks.
What are some big positives that you've taken away? I've got 10.
Ooh, 10. I said the first positive I had was, that's 10, don't worry.
Had to double check.
Yeah, he looked at his hands like. The first one I have is not fast, but efficient start on offense. I think when you hear fast start, I always think of like 3 play drive, 75 yards, just marched it down. It's like immediately speed run. Georgia walked it down the field in their first 2 drives efficiently. Never in a bad situation, never had to convert a 3rd and long. That's what I view as efficiency. Now, it's a fast start because your first 2 drives are touchdowns, but you looked up and it's like, wow, Georgia's had 2 offensive drives and there's 2 minutes left in the first quarter. It was very efficient, in my opinion. It wasn't necessarily fast.
Number 1, zone answers that fit the quarterback's play style. We saw some rippers this weekend. Hey, dude look real comfortable throwing comebacks as hard as he can, don't he? Mm-hmm. Hey, a hitch and go, let him throw it 60. I feel really comfortable about that. Oh, throwing beams to check downs underneath, feel really, really comfortable about that. Felt like the offensive game plan matched the skill set of the quarterback, and that's awesome. Talked about number 2 already. You countered them to death. I can't explain how refreshing that is to know. It is refreshing to know that I cover a football team, that I can go in and say, you know what? This defense is really, really compromisable, or really, really vulnerable in this area and facet. And then everybody in the building see the same thing, go out there on Saturday and walk them doing exactly that. That's like, I'm not going to say it's like Monken vibes, but it very much so was. Like when they were at their peak, you could study their opponent and go, that's where they're vulnerable, and then watch them attack that for 4 quarters. And that's what I saw on Saturday, I felt like. Number 3, and this is important, and I think this gets overlooked, and it's Kentucky, and they're arguably the worst team in the conference, but you manhandled a powerful football team.
Mm-hmm.
You walked out.
SEC team.
An SEC team. You walked out, rolled the helmets out, and dominated them for 4 quarters as if they were a mid-major. And I don't know how many football teams can do that nowadays in the day and age of college football that we currently have. Number 4, Justin Williams playing like he's playing currently. If he continues this trajectory, I think it frees you up. I think it frees you up to do a lot of other things with regards to your player personnel inside that box. Number 5, that's the fastest I've seen KJ play all year. Mm-hmm. He had a really, really good, confident football game. Number 6, we talked about it already. Josh Horton showed up with some twitch in this football game. That's important. Number 7, love to see it. He's an R guy. We stamped this kid a dude way before anybody else. Dominic Kelly's a strap.
Yeah.
Dominic Kelly is a strap. There are so many people in that box up there from Kentucky was like, hey, we got a 17-year-old freshman out there. Let's attack him. Not anymore. You put that on tape. Now everybody's going to hunt somebody else. 24 is a dude, and I love seeing that.
He just looks the part.
He does, man. He's a good-looking football player. Number 8, I think the left guard, center, and right guard, right? Micah, Drew, and Dontrell Glover are really Dontrell?
Yeah.
Dontrell, I always want to call him Donald.
Yeah, it's Dontrell.
Because of
That's Childish Gambino.
No. Donald Glover, is that Childish Gambino? Who's the guy that's, I'm too old for this?
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
See, all kinds of things going on in my head. I thought I was talking about Danny.
Yeah.
My man Glover and Drew and Micah really building a rapport together. Really building a rapport together. Number 9, how about some yak for the tight end?
Yeah.
Some yak. We'd love to see it. And number 10, most importantly, I love watching this football team again. I love breaking them down on tape. I love seeing fire, passion, and energy. I'm not just saying it because they saying it. I'm saying it because it was real. At the end of last year, I was tired. I was tired of watching the same stuff over and over again. You know what this team doesn't do? They don't make the same mistake twice. They don't. And they play for one another. They play hard.
It did get to a point last year you're telling the same story over and over and over and over again. And, yeah, it gets exhausting. A few that I have, young players are emerging. Every single player that I have listed out has gotten their flowers. Elias Williams, Justin Williams, and also Dom Kelly. You talk about how young of a football team this is. I believe it's second youngest in regards to freshman percentage of a roster in the SEC. I mean, getting moments like that, seeing freshmen and young football players get continue to get better, and you're seeing it happen, that's a great sign. Chauncey Bowens still looks elite. I mean, this was a second week in a row, first start of his career, where it looks like you give the ball to 33, you're going to be in a good spot.
Absolutely crushed his media availability today.
Yeah,
and I thought did you notice what he did when he was asked about Nate? I loved that. He was basically asked, hey, how do you pick up? Nate seems like he's in a mental funk right now. How do you go pick up your teammate? And he immediately stopped. He's like, first of all, I don't want to say that's a mental thing because we all have bad plays that happen. It was a good hit by Bray Hubbard. This isn't like some mental slump for Nate. Nate's great up top. Like, he's fine. Like, we don't need to be making that a story. I thought that was awesome for your teammate to be, 19 years old. He's a sophomore. To know that, hey, we can't be out here having the media talk about mental hurdles for my teammate. No, we're going to stomp that right now.
Didn't play into the narrative at all.
No, he wouldn't even allow it. Like, and recognize what was happening in the middle of it. I loved that from him, especially being a guy that has never spoken to the media. It's the first time he's ever done that.
He even had the awareness of, asked about running backs that he studied. Go Saquon, but then also we're going to mention the 2 Georgia guys of, I watched Nick Chubb and Sony Michel as well. Show love to the program. So you're right. He did actually crush that. A few other ones that I had. Dalen Everett is elite, which is a great thing. It just means that you got to get the other side up to speed. And I think that every passing week you're going to see them kind of get to a balance to where both sides of that secondary is going to be playing good ball. You mentioned it, Kirby. Offense started hot. That was a big talking point for us last week. A stat that you brought. Held a lead at halftime against a Power 4 opponent for the first time in 8 games. That deserves some applause for sure. That's a great feeling. And then my last one. Your backups got in before the fourth quarter started against an SEC opponent. Again, going back to that young team, something that Kirby has talked about for sure throughout this year. Of you didn't only just get reps for those guys, but you got reps against an SEC team. Like, you got legitimate tape for those guys for them to go and study off of, figure out what they need to fix moving forward. Like, find some strengths, find some weaknesses, all that good stuff. Like, that was a big fourth quarter for Georgia, in my opinion, going forward.
Yeah, I've got 2 more. Jay, well, you can attest to this more because I was not in the stadium, but I saw the crowd and everything for the game. That felt like a very respectable effort for a new.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the Greek life was late, and they had Parents Weekend and all that stuff, and they're going to be late for noon kicks anyways. And I know there's a lot of back and forth between people who posted the crowd for 10 minutes before kickoff, and then people were saying, no, there were people here. I felt like for a noon kickoff against a team that Georgia should have beaten, handled that game, the crowd was a very respectable energy. You can attest to that. Both of you guys were there. I don't know if you can disagree with me, but
I would say that for like you said, considering the circumstances of that game, and it was kickoff is happening and the stadium is just now getting to full capacity, but it was a sellout. I mean, the seats were full. It was noon energy against Kentucky. It was that. It wasn't the rowdiest crowd, but it was very respectable in my opinion.
Go ahead.
No. and I may have fallen victim to this earlier in my career, but like the idea of calling out and I do this sometimes, but the idea of like pointing out, look how bad these people are at being fans, to me as a media reporter, probably should stay away. It only opens you up to fans looking at you like, who is this guy? How dare he criticize us? Okay, and when you do that, you open yourself up to your mentions looking like crap. And I've had this happen to me before, and that's why I'm speaking like this. There are some times where I have an opinion about the fan base. Hey, fan base got to be better. I said it in Discord the other day. Like, hey, what is up with this? Oh, we lost to Bama. Call me when they're good again fandom. Stop this stuff. But you got to be careful. You got to be very, very careful.
You have to talk to people like that from a spot of a fan of being like, hey, I'm also a fan. We have to be like, if as doing as an outsider never goes well, because I mean, fans are a clique. I understand it. Like, I wouldn't want another group of a fan base telling me about something.
You had an analogy.
Yeah. So this is
this word analogy.
This is the third thing.
Metaphor. What's the difference?
Metaphor is a comparison. Analogy is like using something to.
How about a simile?
That's like or as.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, this was my third positive takeaway. We finally got our Gunnar Stockton interception.
Hell yeah.
Now, it wasn't necessarily the best interception. It wasn't necessarily something where it's like, you know what, at least he's forcing it. But I did get an analogy from this and watching.
Before you go into your analogy, Jonathan, how giddy were we in the post-game press conference listening to Kirby be happy about an interception?
I literally texted.
We were looking at each other like, bro, he's doing it. He's doing it right now.
He did say that it was like, yeah, I'm glad he threw him, but it was – we've been asking him to throw
We've been asking him to make some calculated risk. Like, thank you. Basically.
Yeah.
Normally, it's like, we can't do that. We're in the red zone. We can't be sacrificing points. We got to protect the football. All that nonsense. Nope, not that time. He almost had a smile on his face. Analogy. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I literally texted J-Well as soon as it happened. Like, I just audibly cheered because it was like, we finally got a Gunnar Stockton forced throw. And the analogy I have for this, I feel like, is, do you guys remember, and this is more so an elementary school thing, and kind of a thing now, but when you would get a new pair of shoes, that first few days, you would be very careful of where you walked. You would make sure there were no puddles. You wouldn't really play at recess because you didn't want to get them dirty. You would watch your step. You're kind of almost waddling because you didn't want to crease them or get them dirty.
A jaywalk.
Yeah. Then you got that first scuff or the first stand, then you're like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. And you go back to being a kid and you're playing free and you're being, exactly the person that you should be. That's where I feel like Gunnar Stockton is at this point. He finally had that first interception, that first mistake where it was like, hey, you're playing football, you're going to make mistakes sometimes. He can be a free player. And I feel like, and you can attest to this as well, he was forcing more throws in that second half as well. He didn't have to do it as much because obviously they were up by so much and the offense wasn't really asking him to. But he did seem more comfortable throwing over the middle. That throw to London Humphreys was after an interception. So stuff like that makes me feel like we might get a more comfortable, more free version of Gunnar Stockton moving forward.
I thought the one that I saw was definitely a calculated risk and probably one that maybe you're not being rewarded as one when you get onto the sidelines. It went incomplete, but it's the one where he's rolling out left. I want to say he throws it to Zachariah Branch.
He gets murdered.
Oh,
too.
He gets murdered.
Oh, my God, obliterated.
But he throws it to the right of Zachariah to the point of – because Zachariah's rolling over to his left, doing what you're supposed to on a scramble drill. But he throws it to the right to stop him and give him an outside chance of maybe he can turn around and catch this ball. But, I mean, it was in no man's land. It was either going to fall incomplete like it did or Zachariah Branch was about to make a heck of a play.
There was a moment, speaking of post-game press conferences, there was a moment in the post-game press conference where a media member was offering Kirby an opportunity to defend Ryan Puglisi for his interception. Did you see this?
No.
He's like, Coach, look like I got some pressure in his face. Miscommunication. Something happened there. Talk us through Ryan Puglisi's interception.
Oh, yes. He's like, no, he threw an errant throw to the other team.
No, he threw it to the other team. It's like immediately shut it down. It's like, we're not going to be out here doing the defending of the backup. Let's excuse the interception. No, bad decision. Probably shouldn't have let that ball go. Yeah. So, I took some Auburn notes today.
Ooh.
Should we dump this clip?
A little slight preview.
Yeah, I asked Kirby today, how much have you seen the offense change? Because, Kirby faced Hugh Freeze at Auburn, or at Ole Miss, from 2012 all the way up to 2016.
Is he the coach he's faced the most? From a defensive standpoint?
I mean, he's up there. He's got to be. Mark Stoops is number one for sure.
Yeah. Probably.
But he's up there. He's close. But no, he faced him from 2012 every year at Ole Miss as an Alabama defensive coordinator, all the way up to 2016, even in his first year at Georgia. And then you take a hiatus because Hugh takes a hiatus, and then he goes up to Liberty after 3 years of his hiatus and accepts the Lord, and then comes down back to Auburn from 2022 to 2025. And obviously he's prepared for him 3 years in a row. And I asked him, so you faced him like eight times over a 15-year span, 13-year span. How much has he changed? My answer is he hasn't. Mm-hmm. That's my answer. The coach's answer is he's added a couple of plays, still RPO based. And that's what I think of when I watch Hugh. I think Hugh was dynamic in 2012. He was dynamic all the way to 2016. And then college football defensive coordinators were like, hey, we got to figure out how to stop RPOs because this is all over college football now, because Hugh was really the first to do it in this conference. Mm-hmm. And nothing has changed. Defenses have figured out RPOs. Defenses have figured out how to lie to you. Defenses have figured out how to make you one-dimensional. Defenses have figured out how to make Hugh Freeze's offense for 3 straight weeks in a row only have 8 traditional carries to the running back. Well, how? We're forcing pulls. That's what we're doing. We're forcing you to pull the football by the look. So you can't run the ball. Now you have to take this 50-50 shot to a Z receiver who is Nick Singleton that is 5'11". That's what you having to do because we've doubled Cam's. Did I misdo it again?
Eric Singleton.
Eric Singleton. I even thought I said that one correct that time.
We're gonna have to do the Simpsons thing. You got to go write it down on the board over there. Eric Singleton. Eric Singleton.
Eric Singleton. Not Nick Singleton. Definitely not Katron Allen.
Definitely not.
No, I mean that's what when I watched them, it was very clear. It's very clear to me. Here is Auburn's game plan. You took Cam Coleman away today? Oh, dang. We're going to lose. Honest to God. Honest to God. That's what it looks like to me. Oh, shoot. You're bracketing Cam Coleman? Well, dang. I guess we're going to lose today. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, A&M rolled bracket coverage over them. And every single time Auburn was in 12 personnel, they rolled bracket over Cam, rolled the safety down into the box, stopped the run, forced the check down or forced the pull to Eric Singleton. And it was like, hey, Jackson Arnold and this Eric Singleton, who's great in the slot, is great after the catch, is great as a route runner. But you know what he's not great at? He's not great as a one-on-one winner. That's not what he's paid to do. It's not what I thought you brought him in there to do. In fact, every clip I saw of fall camp propaganda was Eric Singleton just destroying people in the slot. And now I turn the tape on. You're on the road against A&M. It's 1st and 10. You're in 12 personnel. Cam Coleman's double teamed. The box is loaded. The quarterback has to pull the football. And now Eric Singleton's out there one-on-one by himself. And it's a 50-yard throw, and you got Jackson Arnold as your quarterback, and it's not working. So, yeah, seriously, if Cam Coleman can't beat us, we ain't winning today.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
If number one's in the backfield, he's getting the ball. Just period, point blank. Number one is back there. He's getting the rock. They're going to motion to empty, or they're going to jet sweep him, or they're going to do something. But it's crazy. Crazy to me to watch. DJ Durkin's great at what he does, though. My God.
Yeah, the defense.
Yeah, the defense is going to.
Durkin is really, really good.
The defense is going to cause a lot of issues for teams.
They're so big. I mean, we talk about Oklahoma being a big front. This is a big, thick defensive unit from Auburn. Number 24, they're starting edge rushers 6'4", 255. They're starting 3 techs 6'3", 300 pounds. Nose tackle 6'4", 322. They're starting end Keldrick Falk, who's a pro.
Really good player.
6'6", 285 pounds. I mean, he's a big man. They're starting linebacker number 0, 6 foot, 241. Like, they're big. The other thing you'll notice about them defensively, they are so young. Like, it's either future pro, been here 4 years, like future make a roster, and then Keldrick's like a top 60 guy. The rest of them are just veterans, and then all freshmen and sophomore. Jared Smith playing a lot of snaps for them. The freshman out of Enterprise at safety playing a lot of snaps for them. DeMarcus Riddick, a sophomore, playing a lot of snaps for them. Martinez, the freshman linebacker, playing a lot of snaps for them. So it's another one of those, you watch them on defense and you're like, damn, the moment if and when they do fire this head football coach, the entire conference is going to pillage this defensive roster. Pillage. So there's that. Hey, we got a lot more coming up this week on the network. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button on the video on your way out. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.